There comes a time when a man must not rise, but lay down. Well, look, it's all recording. Can I call you guys back in like an hour?
What? Excuse me?
It's all recording. It's all good. I just need to wake up properly. Any man can awaken, but it takes a true hero to fall asleep.
Okay.
What? Okay.
Sure.
You better actually wake up.
Yes.
If you don't, I will tweet. I'm gonna tweet out and be like, alright, I'm gonna tweet out this exact conversation.
And in this Movie Mania podcast's darkest hour, one man has the courage to go to bed.
Alright, Bandit. Go wake yourself up. Go hop in a shower or something.
Alright.
Get yourself some coffee.
Will do.
Alright, bye, you old grouch.
While they talk, he snores. He dreams the dreams that they cannot. He sleeps the sleep that none others can. He is the Dream Master. He is Bandit.
We are tonight's entertainment.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Excellent!
Hello everyone, welcome to episode of the Movie Mania podcast, where we talk films past, present, and future. I am Sherman Trey White of Podcast Media, and joining me is the man, the myth, the legend. We're biding our time until Rogue One, Trilbee / Mr. Titus.
Quick, everyone, scramble! Find stuff to watch. Find some topics.
Please,
What are we
my
gonna
God.
do?
Content! We need content!
Which is a shame because I'm recording from a brand new office chair. Got my early Christmas present. Got a proper podcasting chair, and by that I mean it's just a normal office chair, but it's for podcasting, so it's a podcasting chair.
And I'm sitting next to my closet with my regular everyday stuff and my SpongeBob SquarePants blanket that I got when I was 8.
I mean, it's like we're actually there.
Yeah. Yeah, we've made it, guys. We made it.
Yeah.
It's great because a couple weeks ago we were talking. I think it was we were doing the Cornetto episode, and you talked about how I was really like down and dreary and like low energy. And then the moment the podcast hit, I woke up. I feel like it's reversed with you now because like you were all like just like, oh yeah, let's do some recording, and then like we hit the recorder, and you like propped up to talk about your office chair. Yeah. Bandit will
save
be
all the
here.
material for the audio. Save it for the recording.
It's entirely true. Yes, Bandit will be here within the hour. He'll be here soon. He's out doing bandit things.
Yeah, he said, and I quote, "I'm going drinking, bitches." Nah, he didn't. He's probably just gone off to sleep. He said he'd be an hour.
Yeah.
We gotta hold him to that.
I said, if you're not back in an hour, I'm tweeting out the actual conversation. I promise. I'm going to send out the audio file to the internet.
Well, he is recording, so we do have him on record that he said he'd be an hour.
Yeah, we have him on record.
Yeah,
And
if
I'm
he doesn't
recording
show
my
up, that's how we open the episode before the theme music.
That's exactly how we would open up the show.
Yeah, that's if he doesn't show up. So your listeners will already know if he's shown up or not based on whether or not that clip has been played. But don't spoil it for us.
Oh yes, don't tweet us
because we don't know.
Yeah, you're right. We're going into this blind. Speaking of into this blind, I was gonna say I didn't have a phone for a couple of weeks. My iPhone just it went away on me. It died on me, and I wasn't ready for it. So I was without a phone for like 2.5, almost 3 weeks, and I finally got myself a new phone, and I'll tell you what, Shelby, it's beautiful. I mean, after Black Mirror, I'm kind of scared of phones, but it is. It's really something awesome.
We should all be frightened of the mini computers that we keep in our pockets every day.
Yes, and the mini computers and mini cameras, and you never know who's going to be watching what you're doing with that laptop.
A few days ago, I was actually using Siri on my phone, and I was like, Siri, where's the nearest Starbucks? And then I swear it said, there's only one path to peace, your extinction. I was like, Siri, what? And he's like, no, it's the next right turn. Oh, thanks, Siri, thanks. That might have just been me. I don't know. I think it was. I don't know. I don't want to judge the phone.
Okay, Google, show me the nearest movie theater in the area. Kiyosada Kiyosada what? Keep something safe. Oh, for those guys to get that reference. Okay.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the time code's listed below, by the way, so you can jump to what our topics are going to be. And as I stated on the Facebook page, this week is essentially going to be one giant homework episode where we just kind of discuss about some of the stuff that we saw. Bandit calls it the whack up, the wrap up episode. You can call it the catch up episode. I call it one big homework episode where we just go over the things we've seen recently. And with that being said, let's get to the movie news.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. Cannonball!
All right, guys, this is the movie news portion of the show, in which case we talk about the movie news that has occurred over the past week or two, if you're us. For starters, that's the one thing I forgot to see. Trilbee, did you see the new poster they released for Alien Covenant?
Yes, with one of the cleverest but simplest taglines ever.
That's one of my favorite taglines I've seen on a poster in quite some time. It's so great. It's just run. It's
not even a clever Easter egg or anything like that. It's just you take even anyone who for some reason doesn't know about the Xenomorphs, you look at that poster and you're like, yep, that's going to be my reaction when I see that thing looking down on me.
Might well just been nope. No, May 26th. Yeah, it's essentially what it.
We need like an alternative poster where it's just you with a scared face saying nope.
Nope.
It's the exact same lighting and atmosphere and font as the Alien Covenant one.
This summer, I'm okay.
Happy place, find my happy place.
I'm a married spud.
But, so it came with news that it was going to be moved up 2 months earlier. So we're getting it in May, May next year.
It was supposed to come out in October last year. Next year, wasn't it? I think they moved it up from October to May. Unless they moved it up again, I didn't know. But October to May is a big jump.
Same goes for Kingsman, except it's gone the other way. It's been pushed back to October next year. So because 20th Century Fox gave us some. They were like, oh, we're going to push back Kingsman. But we're going to move up Alien Covenant. Yay! So they really know how to toy with us. Toy with our emotions.
I think pushing Kingsman back to October is a really genius idea because Kingsman doesn't really belong in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? I think the reason Kingsman did so is because they put it out in February, a time where you didn't get a lot of great films. And so, especially when you go up against 50 Shades of Grey that same weekend, it still crushed it, considering all things considered. And so I think pushing it back to an October date where you don't get a lot of big blockbusters is kind of where you're getting your Oscar films. I think it's a really smart and clever idea.
Yeah. I still think maybe September could have been a good date for it because in America, not much comes out in September anyway. So it could have had that month. But October seems like a good enough date for it, and hopefully we Brits will get it earlier like we did the first Kingsman, because we got it mid-January.
Yeah, I'm aware. So
we were just raving about it and just saying to you Yanks going, yes, you're in for such a treat next month. You are.
Shut up. Good drinking your tea and bragging. Okay.
Today I've got my mulled wine, my hot mulled wine.
Oh, you're drinking wine today. Attaboy, Trilbee.
Right, dumbest move ever. We'll get to movie news soon, but the dumbest move ever. I was at work today, and during my break, I just thought, I'll just go to my nearest shop and just get some loose fruit, like get a banana for 10 pence or something like that. And they were giving out free samples of port, and I thought, I'll have a shot of port. And then I just thought, oh damn it, I've got to go back to work in a minute.
Wait, a shot of pot? You took
no, port. Port.
Oh, I'm thinking, I'm like, Trilbee, did you take a hit on your lunch break? I'm like, what are you doing, Trilbee?
You tried this, man? Oh, God, I gotta go back to work.
I could imagine, like it's like, you take the hit and you're just like, and action. Like, it's like the best shot. Like, I don't know what you're doing at work, but it's like the best shot, like, commercial ever. Like the,
oh
like,
my
the
God.
There's
like so many lights.
All time.
That's just me riding the dolly. Like the camera.
You think you're making the Wolf of Wall Street? It cuts to you just like riding like one of those like horses in front of a supermarket, or you're just like, yeah, man, Spielberg, dude. Port. I don't know what that is. What is port? Now we're back on this.
It's a wine. It's a Portuguese wine.
Okay.
And it was like a Christmassy, a festive port.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you what was in it, but it was very nice. But I immediately regretted it because I knew I had to go back to work in a minute. Thankfully, I didn't go to work. Is pissed. Thankfully, that didn't happen, which is good.
Wait, a shot of wine will do that to you? A shot?
I hadn't had anything to eat before then. Which is why I immediately regretted it. But I was fine. Nothing happened.
Okay. Let's see.
Anyway,
I don't drink, so I don't know how liquor works.
You
Hashtag underage.
One day, Trey. If I ever meet you, I'll buy you a shot of port.
Thanks. It's like Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's like, well, out there.
That would be you after
where
your
the
first
beer
drink.
lies. I'll be like Hunchback. I'll be like Quasimodo. Be like, Frollo, look out. Watch out, Frollo.
Sanctuary! Sanctuary! No, Trey, get down from your roof!
Sanctuary. It's like, Trey, where are your pants? I don't need pants. Those are Frollo's pants. I'm free now. Okay.
Anyway.
Speaking of not needing pants, or needing new pants, if you will. So the Rogue One released a series of trailers and clips over the course of the holiday. I didn't send you the one, like, the 80-second trailer that they released, but it is, like, that to me is, like, the best Rogue One trailer, and I'm so hyped.
Oh, is it the international one?
No, I don't think it was. I think it was called Trust.
I think I did watch that one, actually.
I think, well, if you're friends with me on Facebook, then you know I shared it, like, 3,000 times. That trailer to me was so beautiful. It was like a nice, good meal. Like you eat a food and you're like, I can't believe this tastes this good and I'm getting it for free. It's like someone gives you like a little taste of a steak and you're like, no, now pay for the real thing. And so I did pay for the real thing, and I got my Rogue One tickets when they went on sale. When they went on sale about a week ago. Actually, today, yeah, they went on sale Sunday at 12:01 a.m. or Monday morning if you want to go that far. And I was up till about 2:30 trying to get those tickets because A, my computer's already slow as is, and B, I wanted to use my my gift cards I had because I didn't feel like actually spending money. Because I'm like, if I have these gift cards, I'm going to use them.
Disney doesn't need any more of your money.
No, they've gotten so much of it this year. So I guess I haven't paid for Rogue One yet, but I spent these time because I could have easily used my local theater's website and it worked fine, but I had to use Fandango because I had Fandango tickets. I had Fandango gift cards, and so I had to use Fandango. Fandango it's a national website, so that doesn't give away my location, losers. But by the way, I don't know if Bandit talked about the fact that I found out I have a wiki about me, and so do you, Trilbee. So
I know I've got a wiki for just me, and I actually refer to it quite a bit to find out what scores did I give certain films, because someone's compiled an entire list of all of my reviews. So it's like, wait, what did I give Eddie the Eagle? Oh, I gave it that score. It's really convenient.
We were talking about privacy and stuff and how someone's made a wiki about Bandit, and so I went to it and I was like, oh, hey, it's fairly, it's fairly, accurate. I won't give much away about it. And then I said, and I think it said something like, he does Movie Mania podcast with his co-host Trey, and I was like, So I clicked on my name, and I saw there was a page about me, and I said, whoa, hold on, man. So I have to be especially careful about what I say to make sure that I don't just like completely expose myself in real life. But my point being is that I was up till 2:30. I'm trying to get the Rogue One tickets. You would think they would learn by now, because last year the same thing happened in Force Awakens, and that took 3,000 years to get those tickets. They put individual people in like I was waiting in line online to get my tickets. I was in this queue, they put me in this waiting room online. It was essentially, I might as well just gone to the theater and waited in line for my tickets. I was really irritated, but I got it.
I'm just looking at this wiki now. You've got like a decent article. You're like talking about your background, your personality, your relatives, and I quote, unnamed mother, unnamed father, unnamed sister, and you've got like a personality and a background segment. You go on mine, and it just says, William Trilbee Carlisle is a British YouTuber. That's it. That's it. It's like half a sentence, and the picture they've chosen is me cosplaying as Ed for Halloween, Ed from Shaun of the Dead.
I would like to know. I would like to let that person that's making my wiki know that I actually have 2 sisters. But whatever.
Two unnamed sisters.
2 unnamed sisters and a grandfather. Hey, keep up, man. You met my grandfather 2 episodes ago, didn't you? Was it episode?
Yeah. We've got Bandit's sister as well.
Yeah, Exactopus sister.
Yeah, that fan art was amazing.
Beautiful. I forget the name of the guy that tweeted it out, but the guy that did that. Yeah, he was good job. Anyways, we should probably get back to the movie news, Trilbee.
Yeah, but I'll find that fan art and then we'll credit them in a minute. But let's get a story in.
Yeah, the actual
the Rogue One. Yes,
the Rogue One clips that released. They released a couple of Rogue One clips over the course of the last couple of days. What do you think, Trilbee? What do you think about the clips?
The clips. That robot is going to steal the film. I've got a feeling.
Yeah,
got a feeling about that guy. Whatever his name is. The robot.
Alan Tudyk?
Well, I know the guy, Alan Tudyk's amazing. I love him in Firefly. I love him in basically everything he's in. But the robot, I think, is just going to be really funny. He's going to be a scene stealer, hopefully.
Well, I think his name's K2SO, but I think they call him K2. I think I heard someone call him K2 once behind the scenes, and he does look like he reminds me a lot of like R2D2 meets Tars from Interstellar, in the fact that he has such a personality and a sass about him. And it's like, did you know that was me? Did you know that wasn't me? It's like, yeah. And even in the trailer they released, it was like, I'm here to help as well. The captain said I had to, and I was like, I love that guy so much. Oh man! And when he throws the grenade at the stormtrooper, he's like, oh yeah, I'll throw that. But yeah, the more I see of Rogue One, the happier I'm getting.
Because oddly enough, I've been catching up on a lot of the podcasts that I've been missing out on because I'm driving a bit more now, so I can listen to them. And I listened to the Denzel Washington podcast that you and Bandit did, and it was around the time they announced that they changed the composer. So because of all of the reshoots, and they changed the tone so much, so Michael Giacchino is replacing Alexander Desplat. Which is basically just replacing an Oscar winner with an Oscar nominee. So it's not really a downgrade. But hopefully it's all going to come together.
I'm still trepidatious about that composer change. That still bothers me in the sense that Michael Giacchino, he's already in the Disney family. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
He already does a lot of Disney stuff, and he's been working with JJ for so long. It was only a matter of time that they brought him on board. I expected him to become the replacement for Williams when Williams can no longer compose music. But I don't know. Because you listen to, and I've said this back in the Denzel Washington episode, the music of Alexandre Desplat and the music of Michael Giacchino, how you say his name, they're vastly different in ways you don't expect. And I think Giacchino's most calm score might be Inside Out or Up, some of the Pixar stuff, or Ratatouille. Ratatouille scores are great. It's not that he's. Come on, Trilbee. I'm trying to forget that score.
I pushed the Giacchino button.
Yeah, how lazy do you have to be? My God, Marvel. It's not even funny. I just kicked
my desk with my
That's
new
how I
swivel
feel.
chair.
That's how I feel. Kicking desk and flipping tables. But keeping on with the... You want to go back to Rogue One?
The styles are different, so it's not... While I don't think there's much to be worried about in terms of just reshoots. When there is a score change like this, it also indicates a drastic change in tone. Yes. And that is a case of when there's smoke, there's fire. Hopefully they've got it all fine, and as long as the movie comes out and it's awesome and it doesn't need an extended cut like Suicide Squad or Batman v Superman, we're going to be fine. It's as long as you get full marks on your test, I do not care if you only studied the night before.
That's my thing, right? It's like if they were saying, okay, Junkie XL to compose the music for one, I'm like, sick, I'm excited to see how this tone goes. That's like, John Williams has gone to replace Junkie XL. I said, well, hold on, wait a minute. That's hold on, that's a drastic change. I don't know. As someone who appreciates a good film score, that really bugs the crap out of me. But I do think, because imagine how great, because we know how good of a composer Desplat can be, especially going back to watching the last Harry Potter films, and what he did with things like Lily's theme and imagine if he brought something like that to the Star Wars saga, it was making me so happy. I don't know.
What I would like to hear though is, because he's recorded music, that music has been made. Yes. Are we ever going to hear it? Because
I think it might be in an unreleased track or something that they might just put on the album or the soundtrack, Spotify or something.
I'd love to hear it as a curiosity, because for crying out loud, they've released the Force Awakens soundtrack on cassette tape. That's a thing.
Yeah, they did.
They released
it. It's on vinyl too, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah. But so and I think that Disney would be stupid to not leave that money lying there. They've paid him to do the music. That money has been spent, and the music
I
has
just
been
want to
made.
hear how Desplat would do the Force theme. Like how what would his take on that iconic like music?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get a chance again though. Like the guy's got plenty of work left in him. He was nominated and won. Like he won for the Grand Budapest Hotel and was nominated.
But he was
for
nominated.
Imitation Game.
Yeah, I was say he was nominated. What? Yeah, I say that was. I remember when I was watching it. So I'm like, did he get nominated? He got nominated twice.
Yeah, that's some John
then,
Williams award winning right there. It's been nominated three times in 1 year.
He beat himself at the Oscars. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I just want to hear it for Michael Giacchino. I just want to hear like the Incredibles music played over all of the Rogue One clips, like. But
that's my thing too. Like, if it fits the movie and the score fits the film, I just want it because Giacchino, he can do fun but intense music. I just listened to his Ghost Protocol, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol score. That's that has that fun, snappy Brad Bird feel to it, but still has that intensity to it. Like I can just picture the music when he's on the building, he's scaling that building. It's intense music, but it still has that funness to it. I don't think funness is a word, but so I don't know. I'm really. That still makes me nervous. Thanks for that reminder, Trilbee. Despite how awesome these trailers have been.
No,
but hey, we're only like 9 days.
We'll be getting our first reviews very, very shortly, I bet.
Yeah. The premiere's on the 10th, so.
So I don't even think it has to be great. Like I don't think The Force Awakens was great. I really enjoyed it. I think it's really fun, but I'm okay with it being at that point, at that quality. If it's had that much of a production issue, which I'm sure we'll hear about after the films come out, because Disney aren't going to let any negative press come out like this close to release.
If I know Disney, they'll be like, yeah, we had some issues, but look at this Han Solo trailer. Yeah, I know how Disney's going to work, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And if the final cut comes along and they think, oh, this movie, people hate it, just attach the episode 8 teaser to screenings of Rogue One. Don't release it online. People have to go and pay and see it to see the trailer. That's
all you have to do.
Evil.
And it's like when I think the reason, because The Force Awakens tickets went on sale 2 months before the movie was out. You could get your tickets in October 20th. The movie came out on December 18th. You know what I'm saying? You got your Rogue One tickets like in late November, which is a little under a month out. Which I feel like that kind of plays a part in it as well. I don't know. I am a little concerned for Rogue One still, but you're right. If Rogue One does end up sucking, and it doesn't have to. I really dug The Force Awakens. I think the filmmaking in The Force Awakens was fantastic. I think it's a beautiful film. Maybe the storytelling could have been done better, perhaps. But if all Rogue One really needs to be is like, give me like Black Hawk Down with, because I was talking to my friends about this. I'm like, how cool is it going to be? They get the Death Star plans. They think they're gonna make it, and you just hear. Yep. And then like the music kicks in and you hear the lightsaber go off and everyone in the theater just goes, oh, see, they're dead now. Don't worry about it. Speaking of which, Disney did just come out and confirm that there's not going to be a Rogue One sequel. So I think that pretty much confirms what we've been thinking for a while, and that a lot of these people are not going to make it out. Only one person has to hand those plans off to Leia. That's all I'm saying.
Well, have you heard? Do you watch Film Theory?
No, I can't. I can't watch Film Theory because too many people take that channel seriously when I'm pretty sure most of it's supposed to be a joke.
Oh, yeah. People take it way too seriously, but their latest theory on what's going to happen after the events of Rogue One, it's very convincing, but maybe don't watch it if you don't want anything spoiled, just in case it's right.
His videos are convincing. The fact they're well edited, they're well put together, and with groupthink is a very powerful thing. I don't feel like crapping on an YouTuber channel again, because I do that frequently apparently. So I don't feel like crapping on another YouTuber, because he does great work. Matt Pat's a very talented guy, and I like his game theories to videos. I love his 5 Nights at Freddy's videos. But my I don't know. I've heard the theory, and I don't want to say what the theory is. I think it's one of his more stupider theories, and I think oftentimes not. His videos can be kind of reaching, but anyways,
yeah, fair enough. But I did find the guy who did that fan art for us, the Expecto Persista.
Persister,
It's on Twitter at jcastlemanmc.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was really, really fun. And I love how he's like, I'm sorry, guys. If I had more time, I would have colored and everything. I'm like, no, dude, that's all I need. That's really cool. And we have that forever now.
I love it.
I really do. I love that too. All right, so keeping on because we have 3 more stories to get to. Actually, 2 more stories. The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailer hit, and I'll say this. I really dug the trailer. I'm a little nervous that some of the characters may be put to the. I'm nervous that the heart may not be there. I don't know. It doesn't feel as. Well, it doesn't feel as engaging as the first. Like, you see that first trailer and you're like, man, this looks really, really cool and fun. This one feels like more of the same, and I kind of want something different with my sequels. Maybe it's just because we haven't, and apparently, according to James Gunn, they were really selective about what they put in the trailer because they don't want to ruin anything. They want to give anything away, and so we still get to see like Kurt Russell, Ego the Living Planet, Sylvester Stallone. We still have yet to see who the main villain's going to be. I don't think we got any of what's her face, the blue chick, forgetting her name.
Nebula.
Yeah, I'm gonna say people are gonna yell at me. I think the Baby Groot stuff was really cool, but I just think from what I've seen, it looks like more of the same, and I don't think that matches what the tone of the teaser trailer was. The first teaser trailer was kind of ominous, but this one felt more of the same, and I hope that we are getting something different, because that first teaser felt more ominous, and this one feels more fun, Guardians. But what do you think of the trailer? What do you think?
Well, it's interesting because the first film, the trailers were putting the actors front and center. It was Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, and Bradley Cooper. Whereas this one, it's Baby Groot, Star-Lord, Drax. These characters have jumped into the public consciousness over the past 2 years, even though they were obscure as hell, and not even the most hardcore Marvel fans knew anything about them. So I think that's indicative of the movie's success, and the trailers are going to reflect that they know what people loved about the first film. And even if it's not exactly reflective of what the second film is going to be, that's how they're going to sell it.
Yeah.
And because we got no real plot information about this, I'm sure that most of this trailer takes place in the first 15-20 minutes of the film, that sequence with the bomb and the massive spaceships and everything.
Oh my god,
I have a feeling that's going to be the first few minutes.
How cute was that? It's like, all right, so don't hit that button. I am Groot. No, listen. It was the, oh my god, it's just like, I am Groot. Then he points to the button. I am Groot. No. Oh my god.
Is somebody got any tape?
Yeah, I was just saying, someone have any tape? Like, why would anybody have any tape? If anyone's gonna have tape, it's gonna be you. Like, they're taking down this monster, and Rocket needs this bomb. It's like, I need some tape. It's like, you're right, I would have tape.
And then he runs off with the bomb.
It's like,
I am Groot.
It's like, that's not a good sign. That's
yeah. That's gonna be like 2017's biggest selling Christmas toy. Like the Baby Groot. It's going to be amazing.
A lot of children dressed as Baby Groot that year for Halloween. I'm really hyped. And like, but at the same time, I'm loving to see these characters, I'm loving the interactions. And I love at the end, sexual love with her. No. And that
she gets telling everyone your deepest, darkest secret. You must be so embarrassed. Do me.
Dave
Bautista,
like, that's me.
Dave Bautista he'll tell you himself that he's not a very good actor, but James Gunn is able to bring something out in him for this particular character, and you can tell that he's so grateful for this role and that he loves every line he gets, and
it's really relished.
He's amazing.
It's really, like, I thought he was great in the first one, where it's like, you brave warrior, what did you say? And it's just like, you're an imbecile. I love that line. I don't know why that one sticks out, but then this one, it's like, he's the same Drax. He just happens to be just a bit more friendly, because this time he seems more manic than anything, because of, like, the way he's like cutting that beast on the inside, just like with his knives. That was my favorite knife. I just want the sequel to feel, while it is expanding the world, maybe you can go darker with it. I want it to have that sense when I walked out of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I immediately said I want to watch that again. It's still in my top like 2 or 3 favorite Marvel movies because it has that rewatchable factor. It has that sense of it's fun, but at the same time it feels like a genuinely well made and well crafted and so much effort put into it. And I just hope that I hope that the sequel can match that kind of energy that the first film had. That makes sense.
Well, the first film just makes me so happy to be alive.
Yes,
like the last
I think
5
a lot
minutes,
of that has to do with that soundtrack, man. Like,
it just leaves you in a great mood. Like when Star-Lord Peter Quill he reads that letter from his mother, and there's the mixtape volume 2, and he puts it in, and it's
ain't no mountain high enough.
Ain't no mountain high enough, and then even Gamora comes in and starts swaying to the music. There's the troll doll in the sphere that Yondu's got, and it's
and then
so
Jackson 5 hits just as the triple suns in the. That ending gets me choked up every time I watch it, and then it's just like Guardians of the Galaxy. Or I'm just like, yeah, they will. Excited.
They will return.
And so that's kind of what that feeling I get of like it's this fun, action-packed, funny, beautiful-looking film that also has a soul to it, if that makes any sense. And I want the sequel to be able to match that, and so far it's looking as if that's what's going to happen. I'm just a little trepidatious. I don't know, because sequels, because as much as I love Age of Ultron, it doesn't have that same factor as the same wow factor like the first Avengers does. But I do still love Age of Ultron, but still. Okay. And unless you have anything else to say about the Guardians trailer?
No, except I just can't wait to see Kurt Russell's massive face be a planet. And I hope he's got that massive Hateful Eight mustache.
Yes. You quit stopping all that hate talk here. He's just walking around just breaking guitars.
Yeah. Oh, he breaks the mixtape.
Oh man. Like this one, like only created one prop. Yeah. Okay, so one last story here, because then we'll jump into a home section. The Last of Us was a game released over 3 years ago now. By Naughty Dog and PlayStation, and I know we don't usually talk video games on Movie Mania, but it's a game. I'm not a big gamer guy, but it's a game that I play. It's probably my favorite game ever. Really love the heck out of that game. And they just released the trailer for Last of Us 2. I'll tell a story. I was sitting with my friends, and the Guardians trailer had just came out, and I was just scrolling through YouTube, and then I know I just saw Last of Us Part 2 trailer, Sony Entertainment. I just went, I was like in shock. I was like, guys, because I had no idea I had no idea this was happening. So this was a complete shock to me. I was just like, guys, guys, and they were just like, everyone's just like, what's going on? I was like, no, you may want to come take a look at this. And it was the Last of Us 2 trailer, and I was blown away. I don't know about you. I think, I feel like talking about a sequel that captures the essence of the original while expanding on the world. That's exactly what I got from this, but I don't know. What do you think, Trilbee?
It's fitting because I only just recently finished The Last of Us Remastered. Me and one of my friends has been playing it. It's like every Wednesday or Thursday we meet up and play a game and just play it to completion, then move on to the next one. How
great is that winter segment? That's my favorite part of the game.
I think the whole thing is brilliant. I think it's a little bit long, maybe by maybe by an hour.
I think you can cut some of the stuff in fall, but besides that, that's that winter segment, especially towards the end. Oof.
Yeah, but I won't spoil it because I only recently played it, so I'm sure there are many people who haven't played it as well. But
yeah,
the ending is so devastating, but it's one of those ones that. It's not like, oh, everyone died or the puppy got killed or whatever. It's so like devastating in terms of character growth and how it affects the rest of the world. And it's an ending that could have ended.
Yeah,
it could have ended there.
Let me tell you this. If you were in the position that certain characters were in that game, would you do anything different? I
would have not done what he did at the end.
Really?
That's me just playing a game and not being the character or living in that world or having been what he's been through, I absolutely get it.
The word might was very important in that situation because what was happening there was not definitive. It was a maybe. It was like, if you did this, maybe this would happen. I'm like, well, no. Fuck that, pardon my French. To quote Joel, I'm like, no. So, yeah. But
the gameplay is just great. Obviously, it's a game, so it's not just an awesome story. The gameplay is really really satisfying as well. And it just every single death, whether it's you killing a zombie or killing a human, you feel everyone and you immediately just feel terrible about the brutal way you've killed that human being.
I don't know about that. I was
not all human. Nolan North could have died.
How often did you use the bow? Because I never used the bow when I first played it.
Very often, because
to be fair, I was 13. So
if you used it well enough, you could basically have unlimited ammo because you could pick up the arrows that hit their target. If you miss with the arrow, you can't pick it up again. I was thinking much more logically about it, but this.
I died a lot more when I played it because it was like look at this room full of guys, and I said well, and like it was because once you have the fun, you get the bow and arrow. It's like room full of guys, and it was like arrows, and it was like bullets. It was like 5 arrows, 3 bullets. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna grab the bullets. Guys, I'm not an idiot. And while the arrows just sitting there, I think I picked up arrows like twice because I don't know. I was 13. I was just like, you know what, guns. And so I went and I shot up everybody, and I usually got shot up myself. Yeah, but it's a very I think poignant is, I don't know if I pronounced that word correctly, but it's very, it feels like, you ever seen the movie The Road with Viggo Mortensen and Cody Smith McPhee?
Yes, I'm not really a fan, but I get the comparison.
The ending to The Road, to me, feels a lot like the ending to The Last of Us. Because, which is why I'm so surprised they're doing a sequel, because the way The Last of Us ends, I just thought, I'm like, I don't see how this story can go on for more than like a couple of years. That's just the way I saw the ending of the game, which is why I love the game so much, is because it's so goddamn bleak and it's so sad. It's just, it really is just a constant kick to the dick. And I'm sorry for my foul language here, but I really do love this game, and I only play it like once every like 9 months, just because I can't. Plus, I always get stuck on a certain section, so it's usually in winter. It's the part where someone has to sneak around town. But anyways, I keep interrupting you, Trilbee. I'm sorry.
Well, because the ending it can be standalone. So that's why people are saying, I'd love to like play more of this because I love these characters and this world's really interesting to navigate through. But it can be standalone. But the fact that they are making a sequel that's going to take place 5 years later, and you take control of Ellie. Ellie's going to be the main character who you control.
You know what that tells me?
Oh no, not Joel. Don't take away Joel.
There's going to be some, because I won't give anything away about The Last of Us, the first game, but there was some tragedy in that opening scene. Like, it opened like a Disney movie, man, and it was brutal. But it was like, you think Up was sad.
Is Joel going to be like the puppy from John Wick?
That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, because the trailer in The Last of Us 2, it's Ellie singing the song, and she's like, I'm gonna kill every goddamn last one. And I was like, oh, get him, Ellie, because now she's like 5 years old. She's got like the prison tattoo, and I'm like, that's one thing. I'm like, do they have tattoos? And how do they have a tattoo parlor?
It's a temporary tattoo.
I'm like, how do they do that in the apocalypse? Like, that takes a lot of time and like energy, electricity, but whatever, it's whatever. But
one announcement that probably won't mean a lot to many people, but it meant a lot to me at least, is that they're going to get the game's composer back for the sequel, Gustavo Santaolalla, who, because even that guitar motif, the dun 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 dun, like it's just it's so good. Have you played Left Behind?
I've played bits and pieces of Left Behind. That's the DLC they did, the prequel essentially.
Yes.
Yeah. I played bits and pieces of it, which also, talking about being bleak, you want to talk about a bleak ending? Mm-hmm. Oh man, but yeah, I did like that one too. Yeah,
it's not exactly satisfying to play as a game, the Left Behind expansion, but as a story, I think it adds so much to Ellie, and it's interesting to explore that aspect of the world. But I'm really looking forward to the sequel. We have no release date yet, as far as I can tell.
I'm thinking fall 2017, probably, maybe for third quarter 2017. I don't know.
But this is the difference between a game announcement and a movie announcement. It's likely we're not going to get this until around 2018 because game companies love announcing their stuff very early.
That's true.
Like, when was
I'll wait.
I'm trying to think when the actual announcement was for the first Last of Us. It was like 2011, I think.
They're just now releasing the Last Guardian game out, and that trailer came out was like 2012. So it's
longer than that. It's like more like 2009. It's been in development hell for a long.
Yeah, it was in development hell, but that first teaser is really cool. I never played the game because it's not out yet. But I just
Last of Us was announced in December 2011, and it came out June 2013.
Yeah, I remember I was there. I think The Last of Us to me, it's like it's perfect. It's in that uncomfortable spot in terms of movie adaptation because I think it's the perfect game you adapt into a movie, but at the same time, I don't want it adapted until we can get good video game movies again.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I don't want it to. It's like if they tried making Avengers in like Spider-Man era. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't. It's not ready. The pie's not done yet. I think I'm really nervous because they were going to do the movie, but then it was put in development hell. It's in development hell right now. The movie is, which is a shame because the movie can be so good. And I think if you do something like people might make Walking Dead comparisons, but I think The Last of Us, the fact that it has a definitive story, and I think the fact that it's broken up into 4 chunks, which I think makes it also a lot easier because that's like, I don't know, you can make like even like half an hour in every chunk, something like that. A little, yeah. But I just
I think with The Last of Us, the story and the characters are there, but the issue is that the story is fine and it would hold up well as a movie. But if you do that, what's the point of making a movie? You might as well just watch the video game cutscenes. That's always been the problem with video game movie adaptations, particularly from recent games where the stories are great, but they're mostly relegated to the cutscenes. So kind of Last of Us movie justify its existence is basically what I'm asking.
Why? It's just a story that I think would really benefit in a sense from being told on the silver screen because. To some people, you know, they're like, "Oh, I don't play video games." Like, well, it's like, well, then watch the movies. The movie's really good too. And I just think that I don't know. And you could always just say, "Well, watch the cutscenes," but that's not a movie. That's pixels. You know what I'm saying? That's CG. It's good CG for 2013, especially, but it's a bunch of CG happening on screen. It's not real actors. It's not. It's well made, but it's not a real film. You know what I'm saying? It's conjunction scenes, and it's not like trying to do like Assassin's Creed or Halo or Call of Duty where it's all about the gameplay because you don't play Last of Us. It's a game and it's great gameplay, but you don't play The Last of Us. At least I didn't play it, and I still don't play it for the game. I play it for the story. That's just I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah, well, the gameplay just makes you feel terrible about yourself and every action you do, and I'm putting you in those characters' shoes and making you walk a mile in their shoes in that apocalypse. So it would be difficult to maybe translate that into a movie. Sorry, it'll be challenging, but I think it can be done. It's just about trying to justify it.
You know, I think the game is so cinematic in that you can have that sense of, like you said, you're playing a character who then has to shoot a guy who probably had a family back at home. But now we can just watch the characters do that, and I think if the filmmaking is done to give us that true immersion that true filmmaking can give us, you know, Mad Max Fury Road would have made an awesome video game, but it's also a very incredible film because we are immersed into this world so well that we feel like we were in these characters. We feel like we're Max being chased through the tunnels of what are the white guys called? The Lost Boys? Not the Lost Boys. Or War Boys, something like that.
War Boys, the Man Children.
Yeah, the man children, but we feel like we're Max being chased that because of the way it's shot, the way it's put together, and I think if you can do that in The Last of Us, it could really be something incredible. I don't know. I just think that the film has so much potential, and I think it's a shame that people's main argument for why it shouldn't be done is because there's already a video game. Like, well, there's already books, but then we turn books into movies and they turn out great too.
Yeah, it's just the difference with adapting a video game is that you're actually taking something away with the adaptation. You're taking away the player interaction. So that's probably why we haven't yet cracked the code yet. I think I'm not opposed to a Last of Us movie at all. I love the game. I think it can be done incredibly well. I just think you've got to figure out that formula first.
Well, I think the main problem with most video game movies is that they try to they try to incorporate key gameplay elements into like Angry Birds. The entire climax of Angry Birds was they found a slingshot. Now they're going to destroy the pig village. Okay, sure. And then, but Assassin's Creed is looking to be, jumping in hay barrels and a lot of assassin gameplay. And I think, I don't know. I think video game movies that have come out have failed to grasp what it means to be a good storyteller and make a good story. I don't know. I understand what you're talking about with the whole disconnect. I'm nervous, but I really want this to happen.
Yeah, I'm hoping it happens too. And Last of Us 2, really, really looking forward to it.
Me too, yes. Speaking of bleakness, the Cars 3 trailer came out about a week ago. Wow.
That was unexpected.
Owen Wilson. Wow. I'm really... when I first watched it, I didn't know what to say. I said, first of all, the animation, flawless. Like, it looked really, really good. I didn't think Pixar could get much better than the opening shot from Inside Out, but Jesus, like there was a part where I'm like, that's a real car. That's a real car flipping, and like they had the sparks and everything. I don't know what this movie's going to be.
Well, like when I first saw the trailer, if it wasn't for the fact that the animation was so flawless and brilliant, I would have thought that this was a fan trailer.
Yeah,
because it's such a departure. But it's the actual one we get with the posters are out, which show Lightning McQueen flipping over, and it says from this moment everything will change. It's like, what?
I'm like, what? Like, is this like $1 Million Baby, but like cars? Like, I don't know what's going. Because you had like, you gotta cut my oil. I don't. My guess is that he's going to have to work himself back. It's going to be like Rocky 3. That's my guess. Like maybe he's doing the big race and then he crashes and he has to work himself back up again and become a better racer. That's I guess it's going to be about, because they don't care about cars. They usually care about making toys. But I'll tell you what, it's a pretty good teaser. So for a franchise that $10 billion worth of merchandise, that's a good teaser.
It's a different director. We've got Brian Fee making his directorial debut here. He's worked as a storyboard artist on the first Cars film, and he's worked as an animator at Pixar. So it's going to be different because John Lasseter's not working on it, at least as
he's doing Toy Story 4.
But it's interesting because even people who like the Cars films will be like, "Oh, this looks really interesting. I can't wait to see the rest of the story." Whereas people who don't like Cars are like, "This is massively different. I want to see this film now. Everyone wins."
I don't want to say I want to film now. I want to see another trailer, because if the tone of Cars 3 will be like this trailer, then I'm 110% down for seeing this movie, because I'm completely it's like if Up was only about the first 5 minutes, but it was like 90 minutes long, I'm completely being a movie like that. I just a movie like WALL-E. The best part about WALL-E is not when he's in space and he's out doing all that crazy stuff. It's when he's on Earth with Eve and they're just doing stuff for 40 minutes. Down for a more personal, grounded, darker story from Pixar.
If the rest of Up was like the opening 10 minutes, I think by minute 30, I just want to commit. That is very dark.
This incredible increase. Well, I think Up was like if they stretched it out, you know what I'm saying, where she doesn't die till the end. So you don't really want to kill yourself till the movie's over.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. In case I missed the ending.
Yeah.
This ending better be good. Oh, I swear to God, I'm doing it.
This trailer reminds me, College Humor did a sketch about the next phase of Pixar movies after Inside Out. And I think one of them was 2 hours of a dog starving to death. It was like I think it was like it was like 2 hours of Doc Starvin. It was like I think one was called Finding Chemo. I think one was like Toy Story 4, but Toy Story 4 was like this post-apocalyptic world where Andy's like been killed and the world's ended, and Woody has to travel with Buzz to find the last pair of working batteries. There was one about a tree, like one tree left in a desolate forest that's been cut down by man, and it's like, and Timber has to make it out of the ground, but doesn't because he is a tree, and it's like, and after all of this, we'll no wait, it's like one was like it's just 2 hours of your dad calling you to remind you that your grandmother is failing health. It's like this really crazily sad. At the end, it's like, and then we'll release Cars 3 and then shut down our doors forever.
My God.
It's like, because we're Pixar. And then after seeing the Cars 3 trailer, like, wow, how true is that now? Like, Pixar just loves making us cry. I am excited for the next trailer though. I mean, I'm because I've been tricked by Cars before twice.
Well, it's only coming out next summer. We don't have too long to wait, so.
No, we don't. So we should be getting another trailer in a couple months or so. From the looks of it, yeah. Okay. Well, then I think that's all the news we have here, Trilbee. Yeah. All right. Well, then I do believe it's time to get to our homework/feature presentation, maybe.
Yes, let's do it.
Woo!
If you can hear those police sirens.
Is that your end? Or?
That's me. Yep. That's
okay.
Clearly some shit's going now.
Yeah. No kidding.
And now our feature presentation.
This week, each one of you has a homework assignment.
Your homework is to listen to some real music, get inspired.
Is this your homework, Larry?
All right, guys, this is the homework portion of the show, in which case we talk about movies that we either saw on our own or are assigned to see. Oh man, when your mouth just doesn't work like your brain wants it to. Yeah, this is the homework section. We talk about movies that we either assigned to see or just saw on our own. That's better. Okay, Trilbee, if you don't mind, I'd like to go first.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I suppose let's start with the film, a lighter affair, because I saw some depressing stuff over the course of the last couple of weeks. I got to see. I didn't get to see. I paid to go see. I saw Moana, the new Disney flick that came out over the Thanksgiving break here in America, and I saw Moana. And I gotta say, what a trash film. Was not a fan. Like, it's really upsetting to me that Disney has failed to make a great musical since Tangled. It's been 6 years, and this is like their second or third try at it, and they continue to crap the fan. If it wasn't for Zootopia, I would think that the Disney animation department has just lost their muster. Like, it really is kind of upsetting to me. I don't know. I don't know. Have you seen Moana yet, Trilbee?
So what can I say except you're welcome? No, I've only seen that song. I've not actually watched the film yet. It's out in the UK. I've just not had a chance to see it yet.
And I think it's just I don't understand why a good soundtrack makes up for weak storytelling. And I think people are falling in love with this film. I think, and I'm really nervous. Sorry, I thought I saw something in the corner of my eye. And I'm really nervous that the film's going to end up getting Best Animated Feature this year. And I feel like Kubo's going to be kicked to the curb because it has a couple of good songs in it. I don't. It has the same problem I feel like a movie like Let It Go had. Not Let It Go, Frozen. Might as well just call it Let It Go, why don't we?
Let It Go, the movie.
the 90-minute music video for Let It Go.
Yeah, Let It Go, the movie, and some other stuff happens.
Let It Go, the movie, Frozen. A movie like Frozen had the same problem as Moana in that I feel as though it's not a movie. I feel like it's a series of paint-by-number Disney stuff that is put out to let a market in to a specific market they can sell toys and make money. And which is a shame because there's a lot of good things in this film. You know, you have the lore is really cool. The main actress they have to play Moana is decent, I suppose. She can sing pretty well, I guess. The Rock is hit or miss with a lot of his jokes. A lot of his jokes feel, I don't know if they were improvised, but they feel very, very modern day for something that I don't believe is set in the modern day. I do believe it's set in the older times, but the way he speaks feels very 2016. They make a tweeting joke. They say the word tweeting. I'm like, what is this? What is this? And I just
do you sorry to interrupt because you've seen the film and I haven't, but do you feel like with Maui, with Dwayne Johnson, that they've tried to recreate the genie from Aladdin by basically like trying to have this omnipresent godlike character who does make modern jokes and references and can transform and is all powerful and phenomenal cosmic power?
I thought about that at first when they first introduced me. I'm like, are they trying to like an Aladdin thing? Which I was okay, but the more we know about the character, we he's not just he's not as much as the genie as much as he feels kind of more like Timon and Pumbaa in that way, in the sense of like he's there for the ride, and he's the comedic relief essentially. I just feel like, and I don't think The Rock's a very good singer either, but that's my personal taste.
I was personally impressed. I've only heard that one song. I was impressed by that one.
I think it's a fun song. I personally, because Disney has been known to do some really awesome things with their films. There was no scene in this film. Like, I don't like Big Hero 6 as a movie. I'm not sure if you've seen Big Hero 6. I don't like that film. I really don't like that movie. I feel like it's pandering to a very specific market, and that bothers me. But like something like Wreck-It Ralph can pander to its market while still telling a good and complete story and have actual story arcs and take genuine risk with their storytelling. And I really like Wreck-It Ralph. But Big Hero 6, I don't like that movie, but I do like the scene, and spoilers, I guess, for Big Hero 6, where we see Tadashi making Baymax, and we see the kind of when Baymax shows Hiro his brother for that time, and then the screen freezes on Tadashi's face, and that turns Hiro kind of back to from being this angry teenager. And I think that's the one genuine perfect scene in that movie. Everything else is either really flawed or really irritating. But there was no scene, and even Frozen, as much as I hate that movie, I think that Let It Go is exceptional. It's an exceptional song. It's an exceptional scene. I really like the For First Time in Forever. But this, to me, didn't have any scene that was... If there was any sliver of good scenes in the film, it was either taken away by a bad joke, cut too short, or just missed its mark entirely. Like, there's... it's a Disney film, so they go on an adventure, and they meet this giant crab played by Jermaine Clement. And the moment I heard that voice, I said, "Yes, I know who that is." And he's really good, and he gives a really cool song about shiny things. But at the same time, I feel like every time he was trying to make jokes, they kept getting cut off, and I feel like they just kind of let him go on. He felt like really restrained, yet at the same time really like free to do improvisation, and it just didn't mesh very well. I don't know. Something with the film just made me feel wrong. Until the movie ended, I said, "What a trash film." I just didn't like it. So I give it like a 5.5 out of 10. I wasn't into Moana.
So how was Alan Tudyk as the rooster?
Oh, irritating as hell. Like, really, and it wasn't. He was fine. The chicken was fine, but they cut to the chicken too many times. And you know what? This is the perfect example of Disney being Disney, because there's a cute little pig that you think is going to be the sidekick to Moana at the start of the film, but the pig doesn't end up going on the journey with Moana. I think the pig's on the poster too, and the pig's in the trailers. A little fuzzy little hog thing, and you think, oh, he's the cute sidekick that's going to be with Moana on the adventure. No, it's the chicken. The chicken comes with, and the chicken is irritating. It's irritating how much they have to cut back to the chicken, because they're like, oh, this scene needs a joke. Let's have the chicken fall on its face for the 13th time. I was irritated. The more I talk about it, the angrier I get about it.
I have a feeling I'm going to like it because of how me and you like differ Disney taste.
A lot of people are gonna. The people I saw it with really dug it. So.
Because I don't love Big Hero 6, but I think it's pretty good. I like Frozen. I like Tangled as well. I think that's what you like.
Tangled's my favorite Disney. It's my favorite Disney movie. I'll be honest. So I may have a bias towards Tangled.
Yeah, I like Frozen. I like Wreck-It Ralph a lot. But did you see Pete's Dragon?
I did
Is that
not
any
see
good?
Pete's Dragon. I didn't see it.
Comes out on DVD here in like a week. I've been meaning to check that out, but that
I'll
is
check
neither here nor there, Trey.
I'll check it. Hey.
Yeah, but I have a feeling I'm going to like Moana for some reason. I don't know. I hope it's good because I remember when they first released the concept art for it, and there's that that lava demon witch, and like her hair is made out of liquid hot magma, and it just looked amazing. And then I see it in the trailer, and it's like, oh my god, it looks amazing.
The animation is beautiful, but like we're at this point in time where a good-looking film does not equal a good film in general. I don't know. I've had to say that to a lot of my friends, by the way. Like people like, but the music was so good. I'm like, a good soundtrack. I got Spotify. You know, a good soundtrack does not equal a good movie. That
is true. But at least I can watch You're Welcome on YouTube for free because they put it on their Vimeo.
Yeah. I know I wasn't a Moana fan, which is a shame because I loved Zootopia. Like I really dug Zootopia. I think Moana, when I walked out of Moana, I said, I swear, if Rogue One sucks, 2016 might be the worst year for movies in a long time for me. It was just disappointment after disappointment after disappointment for me this year. There was like 5 exceptional movies I've seen this year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I've seen like 30 plus movies, which is kind of sad. But,
yeah. Okay. And the fact that out of those 30, Moana hasn't ranked too high, that's not great.
It's
at least from Moana.
Yeah. All right. Did you see anything else, Trilbee? What'd you see?
I'll go for another animated film. I'll lead this one with a little story. I recently did my written review of Kubo and the Two Strings.
Good film.
And I was thinking, right, do I give it a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? You know, first world problems. Mm-hmm. And I guess thought on it. I'll watch another film. Well, I guess watch something I've not seen before. While I guess sit on my review and think on it. And that film was The Secret Life of Pets. And I thought, as soon as that film was over, yeah, Kubo gets a 10 because it actually, tried.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself?
Because The Secret Life of Pets, it looks nice. The voice cast are fine. I think it's unique that it pitches.
So no joke, Trilbee. Do you remember the chat we had about Siri and how they would like attack? So I apparently.
Oh God, what's it done?
No, I opened up my phone because I was going to check Twitter for something.
Because I bored you.
Yeah.
Oh
no. I was getting ready to make.
I was going to tweet.
I was just getting ready to make that tweet about Bandit. Is all. It's been an hour. And so apparently Google did look up the nearest movies nearby.
Oh God.
So I was like, wow, that voice recognition is they are always listening, apparently. which is nice to know.
Don't worry, Trey. The Secret Life of Pets Blu-ray is in your Amazon inbox right now. In fact, it's being sent to you.
It better not.
It's on its way. But yeah, the animation is fine. I think the most interesting thing visually about it is that it takes place in autumn. So you get some really nice oranges and some really interesting colors that you don't often see in a like average everyday setting. Like Toy Story doesn't really take place. There's not as much orange in Toy Story, if that makes sense. But yeah, Secret Life of Pets is basically Toy Story. You've got one character who is unabashedly, unconditionally in love with their master. And then all of a sudden they think, this relationship between me and my owner is absolutely perfect. Then all of a sudden someone else comes in and they might be showing more affection to this other person than me. And then we're going to get lost in the city. We're going to get lost and we have to get back. And there's some sadistic villains who want to kill people. And it's basically Toy Story, but without the interesting characters, without the heart, without the inventiveness, without the ingenuity. And it makes you appreciate other animated films that really take their audiences seriously. Because I liked the trailer for The Secret Life of Pets, and I thought, it's just going to be 90 minutes of these pets in their homes, or maybe just outside their homes, doing interesting, funny, novel things. Probably the funniest joke in the film is that sausage dog that uses the that mixing device in the kitchen to give himself a massage. That's probably the funniest joke in the film because it's relatable. It's something that you don't see pets do. But you can imagine, like if you're a pet owner, you can imagine your dog maybe doing that when you leave to go to work or go somewhere else. But that's about the first 5 minutes of the film, and then the rest of it's just a generic, oh, let's go on the streets and get lost, and we gotta go home, and it's surprisingly violent.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah, it also feels it's been edited out of order, because there's a subplot where there are these abandoned pets who live in the sewers, who are led by Snowball, voiced by Kevin Hart. And then I swear some of their scenes later on in the film, they're edited out of order. And I have no idea how that's happened.
It's an animated movie. What do you mean? They were edited out of order? You mean they were drawn out of order? It's an animated movie, isn't it?
But that's why it's weird. Because they're like, oh, these pets have escaped, and we know that they love their owners, so we're going to go and kill them. And then the next scene is them doing something completely unrelated, and then the next time you see them, they're concocting the plan. It's like, was this edited out of order?
No, Trilbee, you don't understand. It's for kids, so it doesn't have to make any sense. It's a kids movie. It's fine. Don't worry. It's fine. It's a kids movie. Trilbee, don't quit being such a stickler.
I think the best voice actor is Albert Brooks, who voices this massive eagle, who has an interesting introduction, and you think, oh, this guy's going to be the villain, that'll be really, really fun. And then he just tags along and does nothing for the rest of the film. Literally nothing.
I would imagine Albert Brooks was a little busy that year. He was doing something else.
You can get him in a booth for one day, I don't know.
I don't know how movies work.
I don't know how anything works. Where am I? It's just, it feels so phoned in. And what's strange, because this is from Illumination Entertainment, so they've got all of the money in the world, because Secret Life of Pets is one of the most successful films of the year as well, which is depressing.
How much did it make worldwide? Like, what,
it cost $75 million, which is actually it's good for an animated film.
Yeah.
And the box office is $874 million.
Jesus Christ!
Whereas Kubo and the Two Strings, I don't think even cracked like $70 million.
Yeah, I think it does. Those movies never usually break $100 million.
That makes me very, very sad.
Very sad. Yes.
It's like Illumination Entertainment, like Despicable Me and Despicable Me 2. They're good films. They're clever. Yeah. They're inventive. They're just a good time. And
I think two's better than one. Yeah.
I think they're cleverer than you give them credit for. But anything outside of those two, like the Lorax, is terrible.
Trash.
Yeah, and massively hypocritical as well. Oh, let's make a massive corporate product to talk about how anti-corporate we are.
Yeah.
There's Minions, which is just a lazy, like, nothing movie. And Secret Life of Pets.
The last 2 minutes when Gru shows up, like little kid Gru. Really like that. Really like that bit. Like, why speak that the whole movie?
I thought that was tacked on. It felt really tacked on. At least I think so. And they've got Sing coming out, and people have been saying, Trilbee, what's your least anticipated film of the year? And I don't like to think of anything like that, because least anticipated is probably a film I have not heard of. But but the film that I am dreading to the dregs of my soul having to go and watch is Sing. Because it feels like musical product placement of the movie. Like, the joke is a snail is singing a song. That is the joke. A rabbit is singing a song. That's the joke. And then,
like, at least with certain songs in that movie, like, they have the actual character singing the song, but then, like, they have, like, the gorilla voiced by, I think it's Taron Egerton, and it's just Sam Smith. It's just Sam Smith's voice. I'm like, that's not Taron Egerton singing. There, sure. I'm like, there's no, like, it's just Sam Smith singing. Like, it's not, whatever.
The film could be amazing, but the trailer is just feels like everything I hate ever in a trailer. Like, even what happens is that Matthew McConaughey is a koala who owns a theater or something, and he's like, oh, the business is really bad for the theater, so I'm going to have a massive singing competition. And then it shows clips of lines around the block. He's making so much money, and then, like, his friends like, oh, maybe you should just give up. This isn't going to save your theater. It's like, what movie is this? You can't even keep a consistent plot in the trailer. I don't know. It just looks terrible. Absolutely terrible.
It's, you know what though? It's gonna make $1 billion. Guaranteed.
It's gonna make $1 billion, and the soundtrack is gonna go multi-platinum.
Everyone's gonna be like, well, it was such a good soundtrack, guy. What do you hate the movie so much for? It's for kids, man. Yeah, because children need to know how much Becky can still get that girl's butt. Yes.
Because Well, I think that like I was expecting maybe the Minions and Despicable Me movies. They would be Illumination's cash grab films, so they could like basically Pixar's Cars films, like at least Cars 1 and 2, where they make $1 billion in merchandising and all of this stuff, so they can make films like Inside Out or their passion projects like The Good Dinosaur. Like even if they're not great or like The Good Dinosaur, they're passion projects to the studio, things that they want to see.
Genuine effort. You can see the effort there.
But when like those films like The Secret Life of Pets are still coming across as lazy cash grabs, like it just feels like this company could do anything they want, and they just instead make Toy Story but with animals. And they're making The Secret Life of Pets 2 in 2018 and a Grinch adaptation where Benedict Cumberbatch is playing the Grinch. And after the Lorax, I do not hold much hope for their Dr. Seuss films.
Which is a shame because I really want to see a good Lorax. The Lorax is one of my favorite books of all time.
Well, there's like a 20-minute animated film that you can watch on YouTube, and it's really good.
Yeah, but I think that the Lorax animated film from I think it's from like the 70s or something, that what you're talking about, the animated short they did, I think there's a great scene. It's not in the book. And he talks about when the Lord's like, you need to shut this whole factory down, and the Onceler goes, well, what about all the people that have families? Let me just tell them all to go home. The Lex goes, I don't have an answer. And I think, and I saw that and I said, that's what I'm talking about. That needs to, true, you don't know how to fully solve the problem, but this is not the way to handle it. And it just, I love the Lorax book so much. I love that. Like that's in my, like I said, it's in my top 5 books ever, probably.
But the moral of the story is, unless Illumination Entertainment cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not.
I was gonna throw in a swear. It's like nothing's gonna get better. It's fucking not.
But yeah, Secret Life of Pets, I guess it's massively successful, and it just feels so focus tested. It's focus tested to within an inch of its life, and it's not good. It's not good.
Really, I'm really, really doubting that the film will be in any way any kind of quality at all. It's looking grim, to say the least. But I'm sure it's going to be.
One thing I forgot about Secret Life of Pets. They are so determined to rip off Toy Story, they actually have their own When She Loved Me from Toy Story 2 segment, except without any music. And it feels like, oh my god, this film's trying to do something different and go in a different direction, even though it's just ripping off Toy Story 2. And then they abandon it because they care so little. It's like, what? You were doing something kind of interesting, and then you just thought, nah, F it. Let's just get Kevin Hart to yell some more.
Let's just have Kevin Hart yell at people and poop, because the kids love poop.
The kids love the rabbit poop. But Kevin Hart was actually not bad in Central Intelligence. I've seen that recently as well.
Oh, see, I didn't see Central Intelligence.
He's a better straight man than he is a shrieky yelly guy, in my opinion. Because Dwayne Johnson is the comedian in that film.
Have you seen The Wedding Ringer? That's another Kevin Hart film about. I think it's him and Josh Gad, and Josh Gad calls Kevin Hart to be his wedding planner, like be his best friend and slash best man. He's essentially a hired best man, and it's really, really funny. And I think I think that movie gets like a bad rap because I'm like, everyone's like, Kevin Hart's a bad movie person. I'm like, no, you guys have just seen Ride Along. Like when he gets to do like R-rated comedy, it's really good, and I really enjoy that movie. Tangent over.
I've not watched neither Ride Along films because I've not really heard good things. But The Wedding Ringer surprised me. I wasn't bowled over by it, but I think Kevin Hart needs to get out of this. Oh my god! He needs to get out of that mindset because I think he's better than he gives himself credit for. Like I've not seen his stand-up, but I hope he takes some more roles like the Central Intelligence.
I mean, his stand-up is kind of that crazy, like the whoa, look at me, but it's also like. It's also because he's doing characters and he's doing like he's telling to you. It's essentially him telling stories for like an hour, and it's real. Like I recommend you watch some of his stand up, and I think you'll be really impressed, especially his earlier stand up when he talks about like being friends with some of the black people in Hollywood and how talks about people like Shaq, and it's really funny. I think I love Kevin Hart's stand up, but
I did like. I didn't watch Get Hard, that Will Ferrell comedy he was in. I did see it. I liked the trailer, the bit in the trailer when Will Ferrell thinks just because he's black that he's been to prison, and he's trying to explain to his wife the situation. I thought that was funny in the trailer, at least. But
there is a great recurring joke in Get Hard, because Will Ferrell has like this hot young wife/girlfriend in the movie. I think played by Alison Brie. And so there's a recurring joke, because since he's surrounded by all these black people, that Will Ferrell's like being introduced to the world of black women, and and it's really funny. And like, because like by then you discover, you know, his wife obviously is not a nice person, obviously, because it's by the numbers. But by the end, I think one of my favorite lines is Will Ferrell walks by, he's leaving her, he's like, you have a wet woman's ass, and it just really, hearing Will Ferrell say that makes me really smile.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you have another film, Trey?
Well, I have another for you. Well, I have we can always. You know what? Yeah, let's talk about Arrival. I saw Arrival. I missed a podcast 2 podcasts ago because I think it was a break between we had between Doctor Strange and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find the Deathly Hallows. Was because, well, partially because I couldn't make that week because I was watching Arrival and among other things. But I saw Arrival, and I gotta say, as much as I'm not a big fan of Denis Villeneuve as a filmmaker so far, this is easily his best film. And I don't think the movie's going to get enough love come Oscar season, because I think this is looking to be a crowded year for Oscar season from everything I've heard of, at least. And I think Arrival. The best way I can put it is that it's like Interstellar for smart people. You know, Interstellar is this really interesting and intriguing space drama that in the third act becomes this really almost kind of silly but still really entertaining film about love and quantifying it and what does that mean, but Arrival takes concepts like that and finds a way to make it. It goes essentially to the Christopher Nolan school of storytelling, in the fact that you're not entirely sure where everything is set and what that. But when you watch the film, and have you seen Arrival, Trilbee?
I have not seen it.
Yeah,
I've been hoping to see it.
It's really good. It's a really powerful film, and I think the best part about the film is that the film is not about the aliens. The aliens are they're simply put a MacGuffin. They are there so that we can see the story of Amy Adams. And I forget the character's name. It's been a few weeks since I've seen it, but and I really can't give anything away because the trailers, as much as you think they may show you, they don't show you anything. And so I kind of want to give away what the film does in its plot, but I'm not going to, because just know that the way the film's plot works, it's kind of like Edgar Wright in the sense of that it tells you how the movie is going to end in like the first 20 minutes. Just the film's plot. The film's. I honestly can't talk about the film without going into the spoilers.
Do we have a scene where Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner coming out of a pub going and then the aliens are like because they can't communicate with people.
Yeah, but it's just anything, and I think the whole film is essentially trying to ask a question to these aliens. And there's a great scene where, and this isn't too much of a spoiler, where Forrest Whitaker in his best Forrest Whitaker voice is just like, we just need to know, why are they here? It's like ask the question. It's like they're like on a whiteboard, and it's like the question is written on the board, why are they here, or why are you here? And then Amy Adams goes, okay, but how do they know what a question is? How do they know what this symbol means? And it's a question mark. And then how do they understand? Do they understand that the question mark belongs at the end as opposed to the start, like in Spanish? And you don't think about things like that. And so to try to teach people who don't know anything about humanity language is something that's really cool, but at the same time, they don't treat you like idiots. They don't have to explain to you. They don't. It's like it's really hard to talk about this movie without giving anything away. Just know the performances are great. The score is fantastic. Again, it feels very Hans Zimmer, Interstellar. Bradford Young, who is the cinematographer and a black man at that, really, really good work here. He's doing the Han Solo movie. I'm really excited for that. It's a beautiful looking film, and the CG is surprisingly excellent.
Well, I'm glad Bradford Young did the cinematography for Selma and Most Violent Year. So, guys got chops.
Yeah,
Guy's good with the camera.
Selma's a beautiful looking film too. I'm just thinking about that scene where they all get tackled and like they have like the gas, the tear gas, and oh man,
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love seeing that. No, I get what you mean.
Oprah gets slammed against the ground. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, that is.
It's like I was really there.
Some of us were. No, but it's. Do you have any questions that I might be able to answer? Just
Is there a love? How is the love story cringy between Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner, or is that really not the focus?
It's here's what I can say without giving anything away, because they really do stuff that you don't expect them to do at all. It's
how many babies? How many babies did they make?
I honestly can't say. I can't say this. I can't say this. The phrase "let's make a baby" is said in the movie, but it works. It works. It's the relationship is complex to say the least. To say the least, it's rather complex, and I think it works. But it's a genuinely good film. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It was really intriguing. It's something I'm thinking about still after watching it. And so I'm glad that I saw it when I did. I don't think it's the best film of the year by any stretch of the word. I think it's one of the better films of the year, definitely. I don't think it's the masterpiece everyone's claiming it to be. I think it's a little slow in the middle, as most films tend to be nowadays, because it's really long as well. But I still dug the film quite a bit. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Did you see anything else, Trilbee?
Nothing recent, but I've been recently on a bit of a Christmas binge. So I've just before this podcast, I watched Elf.
It's been 90 minutes, by the way. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Where is Bandit? He's not even here to talk about Elf.
It's time to tweet. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
But Buddy the Elf would not be happy with Bandit right now. And what would happen is that Bandit would come along. He'd be on his desk chair, ready to podcast, and Buddy would be like, "Bandit, you sit on a throne of lies.
Call me
you'd be 60
one more
minutes.
time."
It must be a South Pole elf. Elf. It's like live action Christmas films. Like, you don't get many modern classics, do you? Like, there were so many films from like the 20th century, like It's a Wonderful Life or Muppets Christmas Carol, and so like another ones that I guess considered now Christmas staples.
Man, I forgot how good Muppets Christmas Carol is.
It's so good. With a thankful heart and an endless joy.
Well, Marley and Marley. Sorry.
It's very good. And it's weird in that Elf feels so unconventional when you just break it down into its component parts, but it feels so Christmassy, and it's just Will Ferrell carries basically the entire thing. And even if you don't like many of his films, if you don't like his style of comedy, the man commits. He is willing to do anything and everything to make himself look and act as ridiculous as possible in Elf, but he approaches it so earnestly that you just really you just grow really attached to his character. If you've not seen it for some reason, you probably buy it for like $1 at this time of year.
Any bargain bin. Or if you haven't seen it, go find a friend, 'cause I'm sure they have it somewhere. It's one of those movies where it's like, oh yeah, I got Elf.
Yeah. Basically, the movie begins with Santa. He's just been around the world and delivered all the presents in one night, as he does, that guy. And it turns out that a human baby has crawled into his sack of toys, and he adopts the baby. And it's a human baby who works with the elves. So he's incredibly tall, he's incredibly childlike. And one day he learns that his dad actually lives in New York. So he travels to New York to try and meet his dad, and he tries to adjust to normal life. And it's a fish out of water story, but with a Christmas theme. But what holds it together is Buddy, the elf. Because he's so earnest and so sincere about everything. He walks down a street in New York, and he just runs past this run-down, terrible cafe, this coffee place, and in the window is just a small sign that says "World's Best Cup of Coffee." So he just goes inside the cafe and he's like, "Congratulations, world's best coffee! You must be so proud!" And everyone in the cafe is just staring at him. Has no idea what to do. He gets a very brief job working in a shopping center because he's dressed in his elf attire, his elf gear. And he learns that Santa's going to be visiting the next day, so he stays up all night. Santa's
my
here.
god!
Oh, I know him. It's
him.
me, buddy. So he stays up all night in the shopping centre, just making these huge Christmas decorations. And the next day, Santa comes in, and it's just a guy in a costume. And he's like, "Oh, well, if you're the real Santa, answer me this: what song did I sing you on your birthday?" Well, happy birthday, of course. Oh, you're good. You're clever. And yeah, because he knows the real Santa, and he's like, "Oh, it's sacrilegious to pretend to be Santa. How do you live with yourself? You sit on a throne of lies." Well, he's so earnest, and it's a great performance. And Zooey Deschanel is in that weird early 2000s transition where she seems contractually obligated to sing in the shower in every single film she does.
She's singing in the shower in this.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she's in the shower and she's singing a song. And in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, she's in the shower as well. It's really weird. I don't know why that some weird contractual obligation, but it's weird looking back on it now.
It's like Tom Cruise with the microwave. It's like no. The script's all wrong. Why? I don't see anything. But I'm seeing. But man, it takes place. I don't care. I don't care if it's in the desert. I'm gonna sing in the shower.
Exactly. I'm gonna sing in the Oasis. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yes. Is there an RV? Yeah. Well, then it's gonna have a shower, isn't it? Oh, fuck.
Speaking of Tom Cruise and microwaves, that Mummy teaser looked pretty good. Looking forward to the trailer today.
I thought it looked awful. But whatever.
It looked interesting, but we'll probably talk about the trailer next week.
Yeah. I think the CG just looks pretty bad. And Johnny Depp right now is on my bad side, and I think he's in it. So.
Elf is weird in that, like, looking back on it now, it's the first breakout film for director Jon Favreau, because he did like his own independent film called Made in 2001, like a really tiny micro budget film, and then he goes on to do Elf, and he hasn't really looked back. He's not. He did Thor, Iron Man 2, Chef, and Jungle Book. He's going to do The Lion King.
Love Chef. Like, Chef's really good. I'm glad I just started watching on Netflix. I was really impressed by Chef. I really also like that Robert Downey Jr. was just in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just. He wasn't.
He didn't even get paid for it.
That's awesome. He was just the douchey boyfriend, which makes me think that. I'm thinking Jon Favreau just shot that movie. Like, he just happened to be like, "Oh, I got a food truck for the weekend. Let's just shoot a movie."
It's kind of like Joss Whedon saying, "Hey, I've got all my friends over for a weekend. Let's film a black and white Shakespeare adaptation."
Yeah, let's do some Shakespeare.
Yeah, because Favreau got burned working on Cowboys and Aliens, so he thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go back to smaller films. I'm just gonna make my own thing, and then he made Chef, and then he made nearly $1 billion on The Jungle Book, and now he's going back.
I don't love The Jungle Book, but I think it's a good film, and I'm really excited for Lion King because I hope it stays faithful to the original film, because not much is gonna. I don't know how else nothing's gonna beat that opening scene. You know, how do you beat the opening sunrise? You know what I'm saying?
If there's going to be one thing, if there's one thing that needs improving for Lion King, it's the last 20 minutes. When Simba comes home and it's like, I killed my father and I'm really sorry. And everyone's like, "Oh, you killed your dad? Oh, you deserve to die." And then it's only when Scar is like, "Oh yeah, it was me." It's only then they realize, "Oh no, Simba, we actually like you."
Yeah.
That bit needs improving.
Yeah.
Because it's basically, even if you're sorry for your past mistakes, you should still be shunned by your friends and family. Like, that's basically the moral of The Lion King.
I like the horrific implications, the fact that Scar probably like banged every lioness in that tribe.
Dude, Jeremy Irons, of course he did.
Yeah, and he wasn't prepared, was he? Yeah, no, it's just. I don't know. I think like
those lionesses weren't prepared.
Yeah, no, they were not. Yeah, some horrific implications by Scar in that one. But
anyway, Elf.
Yeah, Elf. Yeah. Speaking of singing in the shower.
Elf. Really good film. It still holds up. It's still really funny. The sequences of him in the mail room downstairs are just really, really funny. And Peter Dinklage before he was Tyrion Lannister. It's another like small early breakout role for him. There's a lot of interesting career steps in this one. Even like James Caan is just an absolute dick. He's an absolute dick as Buddy's dad, biological father. But yeah, if you've not seen Elf, I really, really recommend you watch it. There's even like a stop motion animated special from a couple of years ago called Buddy's Musical Christmas, which I've not seen, but I've heard it's actually okay. But yeah, go see Elf. You'll probably find it in almost every bargain bin, DVD, box,
or
whatever.
friend's house. I'm telling you, man. Like, if you have an aunt, just go to your aunt's house. I'm sure she's got it somewhere. The film's 12 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. I also watched the Polar Express, but there's the people are weird. The people look strange. Yeah. There's one awesome scene when the train is on the ice. It's about it. That's all I have to say.
I just think it's creepy that this kid's asleep and he wakes up to find Tom Hanks wanting to go on his train. I'm like, this giant mustached guy being like, "Hey there, kid, you want to ride on my train? I'll give you some candy." I just think that's some like.
I'll give you some hot
weird,
cocoa.
Like if it was just like this magical white van, I don't know, it's the same spectacle, it's the same music, the same lighting, but instead of like this glowing train, it's like a glowing white van with the letters of Polar Express written on it. I don't know if I think the implication that gets across. I think people then see what I see when I watch a movie. I just get really, really creeped out now every time I watch Polar Express. I'm like, why is this? Even the original story, I'm like, come on, man. And then to say like. To travel all that way and then get that bell. It's like, oh, the bell doesn't ring. Whoops. I'm like, oh, man. Like, come on. Like, I don't know. Polar Express is odd. Robert Zemeckis went through this weird phase where he's like CG! Everything's CG! Where's Ray Stevens to CG? It's
Tom Hanks can play 4 characters.
Yes. Tom Hanks play the man and the boy. Okay.
It's a weird product of its time. I think everything involving the train is pretty cool. Like the train itself as a movie prop, I think is really cool.
It's not even my favorite Chris Van. The book isn't even that great in my opinion. Like I think Chris Van Allsburg's I think Chris Van Allsburg, the guy that wrote it, is a good author. But my favorite book of his is Two Bad Ants. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know. I don't like the Polar Express at all. I think it's a trash film.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, it's not aged great.
It's really bland. It's really boring. It doesn't do anything for me.
Oh, that weird kid voiced by Mandark from Dexter's Laboratory.
Oh, how distracting is that? I was waiting for him to
hate that kid.
I was waiting for him to be like, ah ha ha. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that iconic laugh. L.E., what the heck does that mean? I don't...
Yeah, voiced by Eddie Deason. But I hate that kid. That little know-it-all scum of the earth kid who I hate.
The one thing I did like about the movie was the guy, the bum on top of the train. The ghost guy, whatever he was. Really dug that.
Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't go on Tom Hanks' train. I'm just saying. If I'm sleeping in the middle of the night and it's cold outside and Tom Hanks comes to me like, "Want to go on my train?" I'm like, "I'm okay. I'll go home." Like
I'm thinking, no, Tom Hanks, you come here. I'm like, does your train have heating?
Yeah.
I'm in my dressing gown.
Yeah, like dude, like it's 3 a.m. What are you doing, man? And it's like, like even though that kid that like said no at first had the right idea. He was like, you know what? I'm okay. And then I guess I don't know. Maybe he was like, he decided to try to outrun a train, but whatever.
I'm just imagining like Tom Hanks, like the Polar Express pulls up outside your house on Christmas Eve. It's like it's like midnight. You come out in your dressing gown with like a mug of coffee, and
like
it's like
Quentin Tarantino in Pulp Fiction.
Like
what do you want bringing this train on my lawn?
Come on, Trey. Come on to the Polar Express, and you're like, hey, this is private property. What are you doing? Get your train out of my face.
Like Stewie,
do
when they're
you
making
have
all that
any
noise
idea
outside.
what time it is?
It's Stewie pulls up the. It's like, hey, you know what I do? It's 3 a.m. Go to sleep. I'm coming down there.
I'm trying to sleep, and then your neighbor is like, Trey, what's that train doing? I'm asking him now.
I'm asking him now. Give me a second. Give me 30, but calm down. And like, it's like, my grandpa comes in. It's like, what's going on? I'm like, grandma, get inside. Like, I'm handling something. Christ.
And then you weird racist uncle who's home for the holidays. It's like, I thought the wall was gonna stop these trains.
It's like it's them Nazis, isn't it? It's them white folks. I'm like, Grandpa, get inside, please.
They've come back for me.
Notice. We didn't stop to see the black girl's house because y'all know how that went.
It was actually your sister who they took away in the corner of the bread. Oh my god!
There's no way a black kid goes outside in the middle of the night with no one having a black mom. That's all I'm saying. That kid sneaks out once, and that's all it needs before they never have to sneak out again. I'm just saying. Real and realistic. Polar Express. Trash film. Hashtag it's a trash film.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So the next one I'm going to talk about here, it's Black Mirror, which is, if you guys don't know, it's essentially, I think the best way to put it, it's modern day Twilight Zone, essentially. It's an anthology series in where each episode is kind of set in the near future where some kind of technology has, where it's essentially, I guess the title essentially means is that it is a dark reflection on what technology is doing to society. I think that's the best way
it's
to
your
put
TV screen when turned off.
Yes.
That's actually the meaning of the title.
Really?
Yeah, that's what Charlie Brooker, the series creator, said.
Well, he has a great sense of humor about that guy, Charlie Brooker.
You've got to read his books. Guy is sharp as hell.
And I will say this, and I think for those of you, and we'll do a brief non-spoiler talk for those who haven't seen Black Mirror. It's all on Netflix now, so if you guys want to check that out. And I will say this about Black Mirror as a series. As someone who binged it all at once, I think, well, yeah, I know, right? I have, and I didn't kill myself. Shocker. It just, as someone who binged it all at once, I can say that there's no specific order to watch the episodes. If I make any recommendations for anybody that hasn't seen the show yet, I recommend the episode called White Bear, the episode called White Christmas, and San Junipero. Those are my favorite episodes. San Junipero is in season 3. But overall, the show just has this really nice bleak tone to it. You know the feeling you get at the end of Usual Suspects when Kaiser Soze gets away? And you're just kind of like, man, that sucks. Or like when, you know the feeling you get in Seven or Gone Girl, where you just feel like everything went wrong and nothing good happens in the end, and the movie just ends, and it's like credits. That's every episode of Black Mirror, essentially, ever, and it's awesome, and it's so much fun to watch. Every now and then, you need some good bleak television, and Black Mirror. We're gonna jump into spoilers now, but like just because you said you've seen the first 2 seasons, right, Trilbee?
Yes, I have. I've seen one episode from series 2, and that's the playtest episode. And for some reason, when I was like, I'm going to watch the first episode of series 3 on Netflix, it played me the second one. I have a feeling technology is conspiring against me, much like Black Mirror.
I'm sorry, Trilbee. I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
Oh my god, my Netflix is sentient. I didn't mean to watch all of that RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm so sorry, Netflix. It just auto-played.
Trilbee, can you go on Twitter real quick? I don't mean to disrupt the podcast. So I tweeted out, right? So I tweeted because I made Ben a promise, and I tweeted out using the Movie Mania podcast Twitter, and I said, to Bandit Incorporated, who left to wake up for an hour, has yet to return after 90 minutes. Enjoy your nap. #find Bandit. #Movie Mania podcast.
#find Bandit.
Yes.
Okay, I think I found him.
That's Jerome Gorilando at J Gorilando. Holy God, man. I am in tears.
I'm watching it now. Oh my god. Very good.
Retweeted. Good job, guys. Good job, man. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. And you're right, Chase Berry. This is going to be a fun episode. Oh, all right. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I approach the podcast for that long. Oh God. Back to Black Mirror.
Anyway, what was I on about?
I don't know.
Yeah. Netflix hates me because I might watch too much RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Going into Black Mirror, to me, I was nervous at first because I wasn't a fan of the first 2 episodes. The first episode, to me, I felt like the entire thing really was just a joke because I've heard about the Prime Minister in Britain and the pig. I've heard about that debacle.
I was the one who broke it to you.
Yeah, you told me that. I was like, well, what?
Yeah, so it was during the podcast.
Yeah. So I wasn't. I got what they were trying to do. I wasn't big into that first episode, and I really don't like the second episode of the first season, which is why I'm like, why is everyone loving the show? So I'm like, you know what? I'll give it one more episode. And I watched season 1, episode 3, which was essentially it was the contacts episode. Everyone can see their memories and
the entire history of you.
Yeah, that's what it's called. And my God, I'm like, the moment was over. I was like, now I get it. Now I understand what this is all about. And it's like, you want to talk about a brutal episode? The show gets more brutal as it goes on, but that was the first time where I felt like there was a genuine heart crushing. And like, what's rough is because this guy, Toby Kebbell's character, he's not a bad guy, but you're watching the spiral of this guy's life and how you found out how his wife cheated on him, and then he's cheating on him again, and the baby's not his, and it's like, dude, like. And then at the end, he cuts up the thing that he was in. Oh, man. Love the episode. Really enjoyed that episode.
That episode, years ago, Robert Downey Jr. actually bought the rights to make a movie of that episode. But there's been no movement of it for like 3-4 years, which is strange. I want to see what Robert Downey Jr., if he ever tries to adapt that material for a feature film.
Well, I can tell you what happened. The judge happened. That's exactly what happened.
Well, back to Iron Man.
Yeah, he was like, all right. I was like, all right, Marvel, fine. I'll be in Captain America 3. All right. Yep. No Oscar. # no Oscar for me.
But for the series 1, I don't think there's actually a bad episode in there. I had a different reaction to you. National Anthem I saw because it was years before the actual Prime Minister scandal. So
really.
Oh, yeah. This was written. It was broadcast in 2011, and we didn't hear about that till like a year ago.
Oh my God!
So yeah, this episode was literally ahead of its time.
Wow! I thought it happened like 10 years prior or something like that. Oh no, man!
Well, apparently the incident happened years ago, but it wasn't public until about a year ago. So this episode was like 5 years ahead.
Talked. There's no way that someone must have talked. Like that's like the world's biggest coincidence. Like there's no, you know what I'm saying? Like all right. Oh, man.
It's same. Yeah, like, and the Waldo moment from series 2 is very much it's
that episode 2.
It's not a great episode. It's not very good, but it's the one that Charlie Brooker is even like, yeah, that was probably the weakest Black Mirror episode. But now he looks back on it and he's like, yeah, I kind of predicted Donald Trump with that one. Which he did, which makes sense. But 15 Million Merits, which is the game show, like living in the future and peddling and all that. I think having actually worked on talent shows and game shows like the ones that are depicted in the episode, I hate talent shows with the passion of 1,000 suns, and working on them has actually made me hate them even more because I understand all of the internal mechanics and how producer driven it is and how it's basically staged and scripted to within an inch of its life. And this episode kind of resonates with me in that regard. But yeah, I think the fact that it's such a downbeat ending for that episode and how he just gets sucked into that world that he was trying to fight against, because it's like, what else are you going to do? I think that's just the perfect ending for that sort of story. But the entire history of You is just an incredible piece of television. And Toby Kebbell and Jodie Whittaker are amazing in it as well. They're both
Has Black Mirror gotten some Emmy recognition in any stretch of the way? You got any Emmy love, any BAFTA, something like that? I don't know if the BAFTA works that same way. I don't know if BAFTA works with television, but
I don't think it won an Emmy in 2012 for like best miniseries. But apart from that, it's not really won anything else. It's just like the one Emmy for its first series. But I think now that it's on Netflix, it's going to be getting a lot more love in the over the next couple of years, which is good, because
I think season 3 is their best season. That's just my opinion.
But I think my favorite moment, because Black Mirror is going to, the title, it is a reflection of you through your technology. It is the TV screen looking back on you when it's turned off. And I think the moment that kind of really shows that is when instead of having sex in this future hypothetical world, they just watch footage of themselves doing it, and they're just laying there motionless while they watch.
Well, wait.
Previous.
If you watch the scene, they're like making Smash, but it's it's like minimal work. Like they're watching themselves doing it while kind of like doing it in real. I don't think you guys can hear the tapping of my hands. But
they just pounding it.
I just realized what I was doing because I forget that you're not actually here, Trilbee. So I'm talking much like Haley Atwell in that one episode. I dropped you. No, I was talking as if you were actually in the room with me. And you forget that sometimes. And so they are having sex, but it's like minimal sex. And then they're watching themselves like the greatest hits as well. And that's what she said. Like,
the greatest hits of sex.
Yes.
But it's how they Toby Kebbell's character over scrutinizes every single moment of an interview that he's just had, because it is stuff like that we would use the technology for. We'd be really paranoid. We would rewatch stuff and we would never be living in the now. And it's not like how does this technology change the entire world? It's how does this screw up one family or like one couple? And it's that snapshot into this potential future world that we are very possibly heading towards that has made Black Mirror resonate in a way. And I'm so glad that it's kind of in the hands of Netflix where they can put more money into it, because it was a decent hit in the UK. But now that it's got Netflix money behind it, it will have a much bigger and broader appeal and have that bigger audience. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that platform.
I am there because season 3 is probably it's its most hopeful season, definitely. Despite what you saw, it is its most hopeful season in that there's probably each out of the 6 episodes in season 3, I think 3 of them have happy endings. Horrible implications and sad realities, but I think 3 of them have happy endings, and I'll leave it up to you to find the three happy ends. They're more hopeful than anything, but I think season 2 to me was the reason I kept watching, because I loved the entire history review, and I said, okay, you got me, Black Mirror, get me with the next episode, and then season 2 episode 1, I forget what it's called, but
Be Right Back with with Haley Atwell and Donald Gleason.
And those two fantastic. But I thought it was going a certain place, and I thought it was going to be about social media. I think that's the overall message, I would imagine, is social media and how it truly consumes our lives. To the extent to where eventually Donald Gleason became
that would have been different.
He became a literal piece of social media. And like he died and he became a literal piece of social media. But at the same time, it's about grief, it's about loss, it's about dealing with those and moving on once they're gone. And the great setup at the start when he's talking about how his mom put the picture of his brother in the attic because she didn't want to see it anymore. It was really interesting to see how that episode to me was so simple, and it really was essentially a bottle episode. It took place in like one room, or one house, essentially, like one location. And then it just kept building, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And there's that beautiful scene on the cliffside where, it's shot really well for a television show. And you think, I thought Haley Atwell was going to jump. I'll be honest. I thought she was going to end up killing herself. But the fact when she turns is that she wants him to jump, and it's, man, and it's really how real as they can be, and as much they can sound like them, and how they can use the same dialect. It's not them because they don't have the free will of humans. And I loved that. I love the way that just made me think about computers. And I turned on my phone and I said, "Hey Siri." The first thing I did to my phone, I said, "Hey Siri, do you have free will?"
Can you jump off the cliff?
Yeah, can you go jump off a cliff, Siri? Or better yet, okay, Google. I don't think it heard me this time. It usually hears me. Anyways. Or now, maybe it's just pretending. It's pretending not to hear me.
yeah, exactly. But White Bear.
I cut the mic. Oh.
White Bear in series 2. It's one of those films. It's kind of only based on that twist, but when that twist hits, oh my god!
How horrifying was like if there's any episode I like, my friend Christian, who I've talked about many times on the show, he's my best friend, and we were gonna watch some Black Mirror yesterday. We ended up doing something else, but the first episode I was going to show him was White Bear.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not Black Mirror, I don't know what is. Like that's they essentially made they made a Disneyland for serial killers. Like they took that episode of American Dad where Stan puts all the serial killers in a haunted house and just like just fucking ran with it. And it's, pardon my French, it's so ingenious. And talk about wanting to take a shower afterwards. I think the best part about it is that you hear her scream for like 6 minutes. It's just a straight 6 minutes of just pure unrestrained just pain and anguish and screaming, and no one cares. Literally, no one feels any sympathy. And I think that's just I was honestly not enjoying the episode. I was getting annoyed. I think maybe that might have been the intention. I was like, why is this character so incompetent, so irritating? But then you realize what this person was. You first think it's gonna be like a Hunger Games, like a revolution of some kind, but no, it's like, and then especially you know that people like Snapchat's such a thing these days, and everyone's always recording themselves doing stuff. It's to quote Weekly Planet, they talk about Black Mirror and they talk about how much things are a phone in society, how much society is like a phone. It's a genuinely horrifying episode. This to me, that's a horror film if I've ever seen one.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, I needed a shower after I saw that episode. I took a 5-minute break after that episode. I'm like, you know what? I need a break.
Yep, I'm done.
Yeah, like, you know what? Let's watch some Family Guy, because I wasn't ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. What about you? What do you think about White Bear?
Yeah, it is basically based on that twist about what exactly is happening in this future, or what is happening to this character, and it's something that you can actually imagine happening in real life, which is the terrifying part, because there's so much in our modern culture of frontier justice, of people.
I was thinking that too. I was like, and that's frontier justice.
Exactly, no, it's right. It's all about how normally, like on Facebook, we can hear news stories about people who have committed terrible crimes, and we instantly hold ourselves as, we are judged during execution, or we are the person who must look down on them, even though we could be just as capable of these horrible actions as well. It's really interesting. I don't really have anything much more to say about it, other than I love Lenora Critchlow's performance in it as well, how she carries the episode, and how and Michael Smiley's in it as well. I love Michael Smiley. Guy's awesome.
Is he the guy running is that who that is?
I think that's the guy. He's the reverend in The World's End. Have you got any drugs?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
and the penny drops.
That's right. I thought I recognized him. Like, where is he from? It's that guy. I think the worst thing about it is that the implication of what's like, you go back and you think, like, how many times has she been through this? Mm-hmm. How many times has she gone through this when we first meet her? How many times had that happened to her at that rate? Because it was like, and they just did a calendar, and you see how it's been going on for weeks, and like at least like a month. But you can imagine it's been going on for way longer than that. And like they treat it like it's a game, like it's just some kind of. But I think the best part about it is, I don't feel sorry for her as much as I'm not horrified by the fact that this woman is being treated this way, because I know how this woman is. We know what this woman's done. We know how crazy and how evil and how much of a monster she is as a person. Mm-hmm. But what we do, and when she's like,
but does that make us out? Do we descend to her level when we put her through something?
Who watches
like
the Watchmen? You know what I'm saying? It's that who watches the Watchmen kind of question of who are we to determine that someone needs this such a. If we consider like lethal injection or the electric chair cruel and unusual punishment, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we consider solitary confinement to be cruel and unusual, like what is this? You know, where do we go as a society toward this is the norm? Where this, and how many other justice parks, quote unquote, are there in the world that we don't see? Because it's a terrifying concept that could easily happen in our world today, and that's the.
Well, it's something that I'm sure it's actually a concept for a reality show that I'm certain has at least been talked about in the bowels of some scum of the earth TV networks or TMZ or something. It's something that I'm sure is actually
a movie
lot closer than we think.
There's a movie that came out 10, 12 years ago. I think it's called The Command. And it's about 9 prisoners who all have bombs strapped to their heads or their ankles or whatever, and they have to try and kill each other. And it's just, or like something like that, or the Hunger Games. It's like
the Suicide Squad.
It's with the Nazis. Let's go save the world. It's just,
we all got bombs in our necks.
It's horror. It's a genuinely scary episode to me. I don't know. Thinking about that just gives me the creeps. That being said, the next episode, I kind of don't want to talk about it because I don't feel like voicing anybody's time.
I don't remember much about it. I remember the ending, and that's only because we're currently living it.
What was the ending again?
It's basically when Waldo is taken over the world and has turned it into a police state, and he's just an angry, mature baby on monitors.
Oh, that's right.
We're basically living that world now, which is the main reason I remember it. Even Charlie Brooker himself has said that the Waldo moment episode is probably his weakest one. He's open about that, and it takes a lot for. I know several writers who don't even admit when they've done something wrong.
Stephen Moffat.
Well, when he does, it's like, it's that the Beast Below is my weak one. It's like, what about the other 20 ones that are worse than that one? Actually, the ending of White Bear.
Sorry that Sherlock season 3 episode 2 was a little weak. I'm like, what about the Abominable Bride? What about that thing you made us wait another 2 years for? No, okay, whatever.
But the ending of White Bear actually was something that Stephen Moffat kind of stole at the end of Heaven Sent. At the end, when it's like, how many times has the Doctor been through this castle? If you've seen the ending of that story, basically he's died 100,000 million times, and it all ends the exact same way, and he resurrects himself to go through the entire ordeal again. Spoiler warning. It's actually a really awesome. It's different in.
I do love those kind of twists of characters where we only see one install, like something like Edge of Tomorrow, when they're at that abandoned house, and Emily Blunt asks Tom Paris, she says, "How many times have we been here?" And you start kind of making this realization of, oh man, White Christmas. I don't think. I mean, let's just jump right into it. I don't think that you want to talk about an episode I wasn't ready for. I didn't think that I could be so angry after a Christmas episode of a TV show, but Black Mirror.
You've not watched the Doctor Who Christmas special written by Stephen Moffat. Anyway, no, that's
I don't watch Doctor Who. Yeah,
good.
No,
it's not good anymore.
You can talk about White Christmas briefly. I'm gonna get some water.
Here's the thing. I've not watched it since it came out, and I don't remember anything about it.
Oh, that's a shame. It's so good. Okay.
Yeah, I remember it being really, really good. I've just not seen it for nearly 2 years. I just don't. I need to rewatch it.
This guy wakes up and he's working with John Hamm. I presume it's somewhere out in the Arctic.
Love that guy.
And they're both talking. I think he's the guy that gets the farmer's mom's line from Hot Fuzz. He's like,
"Yep,
farmer's mom's."
He's that guy forever now.
Yeah, and they both talk about why they're there and how they ended up in this place, and it's a lot like I think something like Fight Club or anything with a good twist, where if you watch it a second time, you can clearly see that they have set up everything from the opening shot, essentially. Because they set and throughout the episode, they clearly you're not entirely sure what's factual and what's not factual and what links into what, because yes, John Hamm maybe did have this work where they put people's consciousness into an egg, but at the same time, yes, he did do this weird thing where he was teaching guys to pick up on chicks, but then this guy gets, how crazy was that? I don't know if you remember that, when the guy he got to pick up chicks and she straight up just murdered him. That was Like I was like shaken after. I was like, that was just I don't know.
I know that was this was many people's introduction to Black Mirror because it was like it had the biggest marketing push, at least in the UK. And then people all of a sudden start watching White Christmas, and all of that happens. And I think it turned a lot of people off the series because it is a deep end episode, if that makes sense. It's
very bleak. It's not the episode you start with. That's just I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you've watched the previous series, then you'll kind of know to expect that from Black Mirror. But when you think, oh, Christmas special, yeah, let's watch this. This will be fun. Nope. It's not. That's not Black Mirror. That's not what you're in for, man.
What an interesting way of blocking people. I don't know do they call it blocking people? Something I think they call it that.
Yeah, blocking.
And it's essentially where instead of like, oh, you just can't receive tweets or messages from this person. No. You don't receive life from this person. This person is not. But this does also beg the question: can that person still touch you? Can that person
probably because it's like isn't it like a contact lens or something? So it is just through your own personal vision. So I imagine they still would exist. You'd still be able to touch them. You just wouldn't know.
Because we do see the husband throw something when he's been blocked. And I don't think this was the first episode of Black Mirror that I cried in. And I get emotional. I cry when I get emotional, apparently. But I know what it was. I think I know exactly what scene it was. It was the scene right when I realized exactly what was going on. When I realized that John Hamm was merely there talking to this guy, and I just shed a tear. I said, "This sucks." I'm like, "This is the worst." It was a horrifically bleak ending on both parties because you kind of hate John Hamm for what he did to this guy, but at the same time, this guy did end up killing somebody. But I don't think he did it on purpose, and he only did it because his wife wouldn't let him see the kid because the kid wasn't his, even though he probably should have still seen the kid. And then he did it, and so she blocked him for life. And she blocked him for life. And then when she finally got to see the kid, when he finds out it's not his kid, oh my god, like dude, I know people hate when I get like this. I get all not critically, and I start talking like a fan that doesn't know how to talk about things critically. But there are certain times where you just need to nerd out on how crazy certain things were. Like, man, oh my god, and you see the kids like, it's Asian. Oh no. Let me figure out what's the least racist way to say this. I've never been more angry to see Asian face, if that makes any sense. Like, to see an Asian face, I'm like, oh no, it's not his. And then, oh man. I'm sure they did it on purpose, by the way, to ensure that it wasn't. To make unless the kid was like black, and that would have been like the next best like option to make sure. So like you right away knew it wasn't his kid, and then like but then we realized the girl froze to death outside, and it's like how far did she make it? And then it looks out the window and she's still there, and you're like, man, that's oh my god, like it was.
I mean, do they know it's Christmas time?
It's just heartbreaking, and it's a shame that's and then he's stuck in there for like 100,000 years, hundreds of thousands of years, and it's just I can't. And the moment it ended, and like John Hamm has to walk out and be like in this area where he's blocked by everybody, and he's just surrounded by silhouettes. How does he live? How does he get services? How does he order coffee? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the one thing you ask.
Well, because I'm
Where's
thinking
the
like,
coffee?
because he walks into like the shopping area or whatever. I'm like, if you're John Hamm, do you have to like write notes and be like, hey, I know I'm blocked, but can you give me this? Do you just have to like hand people like written letters of things? Yeah. Like that's your own personal hell. And the moment it ended, I just said, I don't know what that was, but that was talking about like you thought White Bear needed a break. Now I didn't. I you know what I did? I went to sleep. Like White Christmas ended, and I said, you know what? I'm going to bed. I can't. Yep. It's like when you watch Game of Thrones and someone really important dies. Like, I can't do this right now.
I'm taking a break.
I don't have the emotional capacity for this. Thank God season 3 starts out, and without giving any spoilers, since this is where you haven't gotten to, episode 1 is nowhere near as bleak as. I don't think there's an episode that is as bleak as the episodes in season 2. I think season 3 is my favorite season, but I don't think there's an episode that is as bleak as there are some things. some stuff. It's Black Mirror, so some bleak stuff still happens. But like with something like Playtest, it's not necessarily bleak as much as it's just as shocking and upsetting.
Yeah,
but I think not like.
I do have a bit of an issue with Playtest in that I think it goes one reality too far.
I think
it does cheat. It really absolutely does cheat. I think if it had just been one of the three endings, it doubled down on the twist ending, so it kind of
felt
lost
like
it.
It's like Clue, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but this is what kind of happened. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Clue, but like the movie Clue, it's like this is how it really happened, or did it happen like this? Like, oh, all right.
Yeah, but the rest of it, like, it just shows that Dan Trachtenberg is like 10 Cloverfield Lane was not just a one-off fluke. This guy can do tension incredibly well. He can do horror. Like,
it's a beautifully shot episode.
He follows the horror conventions in a way that like it's deliberate for the episode, because there's the shot where the guy opens the cupboard and I see the camera slowly zooming in and I'm like, okay, he's going to close the cupboard door and something that's going to be behind it. But the guy he acknowledges
he makes
that.
a comment. He's like let me guess, he's going to be behind that. He's going to be, and then like talk about subverting expectations. It's the shadow, and you're like, oh, okay. And then it's a spider. It's a
giant spider with a face on it.
Oh my! I remember you ever when you watch Chamber of Secrets for the first time and you see what's his name, Azarog or whatever, the giant Aragog, and you like. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Can you hear that, Shelby?
I lost a couple of seconds.
No, I just stopped talking because I heard this giant bang outside. There were like three giant bangs outside.
No, it's Aragog coming to get you.
I better not. Well, because we were talking about the playtest episode, and then I heard three giant bangs. Okay, well, actually, we're gonna leave that in case you get catch it in the audio. Funny story though. This reminds me of a side tangent. So I get home yesterday after watching Batman movies and with friends and being just general nerds, eating kettle corn. It was a fun day. My point is, I get dropped off in my apartment by my friend, and it's like midnight, like 12:30, and we get out. I get out and I slam my door. I guess I slammed the door a little too hard. And I just start hearing this like howling, but the howling sound like I can't remember. Do you remember like do you remember what you've seen How to Train Your Dragon, haven't you?
Yeah.
Do you remember that scene when what's the dad's name? Hiccup's dad. What's his name? Stoic. When Stoic throws
Gerald
the torch,
Butler.
Yeah, when he throws the torch down that giant hole, and you just see like thousands of dragons, and you can kind of all hear them make noises. It was a lot like that, and like it was just like howling and animal noises, and it kind of sounded like cackling too. I was just silent. I was just completely silent. I had no idea what to do, and then my friend gets out the car. It's Christian. Christian gets out the car. I'm like, Christian, get out the car. I need you to hear something real quick. And then he gets out and he hears it too. And then like almost instantly silence. You could hear a pin drop. It was like. Usually you'll hear like crackling, like maybe some crickets. Nothing. It was silent. And I turned to Chris. I said, "Get in the car." I'm like, let's get in the car. Which is weird because my front door was like up a flight of stairs, but I felt like he was like, "You're too far from your apartment. I don't want to take you. I don't want to unless you walk." And so he took me back. We like looped around. We were like, "What the? I don't want to story more on the show." I was like, "What was that? What was?" And we were freaking out. And then eventually we pull back up to the apartment, and I go inside. But man, talk about scaring. Talk about a scary episode. But going back to your subverting expectation thing, I love when she's like, you need to go find, and this isn't a big spoiler, so you need to go find the off switch. Where's the off switch? Cuts to the stairs. I loved that so much. When he tries that, when he's in, and it's like, oh, come on, man, the off switch is upstairs, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what's interesting is the woman who like he has the fling with during his road trip. Yeah. She is the girl in 15 Million Merits in Series 1.
That's Abby?
Same actress.
No way.
Way.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Would I ever do that?
I don't know. I'm about to look this up as you're talking. Say look, they don't. I thought.
I don't know if she's in the episode at least. I can't remember the name. She is in 15 Million Merits.
Okay. I was gonna say because she looks more like what's her face. the girl Elektra from Daredevil season 2 more than anything.
She's not. I don't know. But either way, she's been in Black Mirror before, so she's forever trapped in the TV screen by the looks of it. She's basically living the White Bear scenario, where every day she wakes up and has to film a Black Mirror episode. And then
she's like, no, I'm in Black Mirror again.
Oh God, not again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she has her memory wiped, and then she just has to film another soul-crushing, depressing episode.
Yeah, I will say this. Hannah John. No, you know what? You're right. It might be the same girl. You know what? You're right, Trilbee. It might be. I'm looking this up right now on my.
Say those words again. You're right, Trilbee.
Oh, all right. No, let's not get too crazy.
Yes. But I've not seen. I've watched the first 10 episodes of episode 1 because Netflix is weird like that with the Bryce Dallas Howard one, and I guess I love the idea of basically it's a future world where people are given 5-star ratings, and if you're below 2.5 stars, you're lower class, and you don't get as good. It's
essentially like it's like if Instagram became your credit score. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like. And I love that idea of that we are so damn close to that being a reality, because like I was listening to the Weekly Planet guys talk about it, and they say how, you know, there'd be enough people that didn't care enough there'd be enough people like that laden in truck, but if it became a point to where it defined your life of where you can't enter this building, you can't board this plane because you don't have the score of at least a 4.2. You know what I'm saying? That is something that I feel is so valuable, and I think that's why the episode. I think the episode goes on a bit too long. I've seen the episode. I think it's a good episode. I think it has a very nice ending, but and as nice as Black Mirror can be. But I do think that there is no way this won't happen if we don't change our ways right now, because we are so obsessed with ratings and numbers, and I think this was a comment on the PC culture, the PC police, if you will, and what happens when everyone kind of becomes a social justice warrior. Everyone kind of becomes easily offended. Everybody kind of becomes the whiny police of where even the slightest thing, like someone could like bump into you in the hallway because you're not looking, and then it's like dun, 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 and you just get rated like a 1 or something, and that concept really intrigued me throughout the entire episode. Because as someone who is on social media, who's commonly on social media, and as someone who is not afraid to make a comment on something, I have been blocked and I have lost a friendship with somebody because I made a comment on something that they did not agree with. I have gotten into fights with friends over something I said on Facebook. So we're really not that far off from that at all. And it really made me smile that Charlie Brooker and the Black Mirror team was able to put that together. And they really, I'm glad they took on social media the way they did this time. Yeah.
As for the rest of it, I have not seen any more of Series 3, which I really, really want to. But yeah, if you want to give us some thoughts on the rest of the episodes, Trey.
I can. We're working. Let's touch on the bad first. As much as I do love this season, I think the finale. I really was not a fan of the season 3 finale, and I really don't want to say why, because the reason I'm not a fan is. Okay, here let's give a brief premise, and I won't give any like what the commentary is or anything like that. That's kind of the funnest part about Black Mirror. Essentially, it's a police procedural, and people are getting murdered, and we're trying to find the connection of why people are getting murdered, and the why people are getting murdered, and essentially the how people are getting murdered, is what really bugged me, because it really turned the show into something else. It went from being like Law and Order to being like, I don't know, iRobot-esque. And it's in a sense it's not robots, but it's in that weird sci-fi Alex Proyas tone. You know, it really bugged me that 60% of the episode was something else than the first 40%. And then the episode before that, I forget what it's called. But it's essentially it's a war episode, and it's really cool and it's really interesting. But I do think it's very heavy-handed and it's really on the nose. And I don't think anything like that could happen in the near future. I think, without giving anything away, I think there's enough hate in the world already today that what ends up happening does not need to happen. That's all I'll say about that. It's still well shot, well put together. It's still every episode in the series, with the exception of the finale and the Waldo episode, are still have fun, quote unquote, fun elements about them. Episode 3 is probably the most grounded since the series premiere. Thinking back on it, it's probably the most grounded. Yeah, it's probably the most grounded since the series premiere, like since National Anthem, and it's essentially, it really is a warning to. It's very anti-porn, if that makes any sense.
What?
And it's but at the same time, the show, in typical Black Mirror fashion, it waits till like you think the show is going to have something hopeful about it. You think, oh, season 3 is going to be the hopeful Black Mirror episode, and like no joke, it's like the last like 90 seconds of the episode, just a giant punch in the dick, and it's not. It's so abrupt and it's so insane that you're just not ready for it, and so when it happens, you're left just kind of shaken of like, I have no idea how to feel. Episode 3 left me very conflicted. But then episode 4 happens, and episode 4 might be my favorite episode of Black Mirror, and it's called San Junipero, and I'm going to call this episode the Tumblr episode, because if someone says describe that episode in one word, I'm going to say lesbians. It's a love story.
That's just my favorite topic.
Yeah, right on.
It's conforming to stereotypes.
Yeah. It's a love story about loss, and that's and I think that might be giving away too much. It's so it has that Black Mirror-esque twist of where like that's messed up, like that's horrifying, but at the same time it's really hopeful, and it feels like getting a nice warm hug from somebody you don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, Black Mirror gives you this nice, warm, hug-filled ending, and you're just like, but I don't like you right now. Like, you feel conflicted by the film, and I say film because I think the episode's like an hour and 10 minutes, something like that. So it's really, I think it's definitely my favorite episode of the entire series so far. I think if there's any episode that deserves a 10 out of 10, it's that one, White Christmas and White Bear. Those are my favorite episodes, with the others coming in like each like with like episode 3. What's it called again? Episode 3 of the first season. The Way That You Do, whatever it's called. The one with the contact lenses. That one I think is like a 9. And then I think there's really only 2, I think, bad episodes of Black Mirror, and that's Waldo and the finale of season 3. But that's it's really whatever. But season 3 is my favorite season, just because, as well, I don't think it has as consistent qualities as season 2. Each episode has something to say, and it doesn't really fall apart until the end. Even the episode I don't like that much, like episode 5, still has something good about it. It still has a good message behind it, I guess. Yeah. But
Okay.
I really do think you're in for a treat. Yeah.
Oh, I know I am. Aha.
I'm really excited for you to. I need you to watch episode 3 so I can talk to you about episode 3.
Okay. Well, hopefully we
God.
can do that next week or the week after. But I'll definitely be revisiting White Christmas because, the spirit of the holidays, and I can't just watch Elf for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Commentary. Yeah.
That might be depressing.
Yeah, like
See how it goes.
Like, all right, guys. Well, I'll see you guys later. All right, bye.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, but that's Black Mirror. Great show. I'm glad I found it. I think it's an easily bingeable show if you have a good enough spirit about it. If you're an easily upset person, I wouldn't recommend watching it. At least not all in one sitting, like I did, because I think to the uninitiated, it'll hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, for you, Trey, I recommend you go on YouTube and watch Charlie Brooker's Year Wipes, where basically at the end of every year he just does a really sarcastic look back on all of the worst aspects of the year. And basically he's done one every year for the past 3 or 4 years, and every year is the worst year ever. And it basically just sums up the entire year in news and media and all the topical stuff that's happened, and it's always depressing and funny. I recommend that. You can watch them, most of them on YouTube actually for free. So you're basically chappying it, but it's probably the easiest way because there's no DVD release or anything, so you don't. There's not like a legal way to rewatch them. But yeah, that's what I suggest.
Okay, right on. I might check it out. I'll check that out then. Yes.
Great.
You have anything else you need to talk about in our discussion here? Anything else?
Not really.
Okay. Well then, Trilbee, I think, despite this wanting to be our shorter episode, at 2:40, at 2:40, let's get to listener questions.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
All right, guys, this is the listener question portion of the show, in which case we answer your listener questions on the Facebook page and maybe Twitter. All right, and for starters here, I lost my question. Oh, Paul Spooner. Paul Spooner. Great opening. Fantastic. Leave all of that in. Paul
I thought you were doing
Spooner.
the A-Team music then. Dun, 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 dun.
Kind of. I was trying. I'm like Indiana Jones, then Superman, Star Wars. Paul Spooner on Facebook asked, "Can you rank this year's comic book movies?"
Yes, I can. Next question. Oh, would he actually like us to rank them?
Oh,
Let's say, Paul,
I don't know, Paul.
You've got to be more specific, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know,
Paul.
Paul.
What a waste of a question. It's like, oh, you get 3 questions to ask this fortune teller. Oh, 3 questions. Is that all I get? Yes. And your second question?
Your second question?
Yep.
It's like, wait, that counted as the first question? Yeah. What's your third question?
Oh, like, you seen The Simpsons when he goes to the head of the Quickie Mart? You can ask me 3 questions. Are you really the head of the Quickie Mart? Yes. Really? Yes. Really? Yes. I hope this has been enlightening for you. Thank you. Come again.
I would always be like, so can I wish for 3 more wishes? And then just like, no. I'm like, why not? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, then I wish for 3 more wishes.
Yeah, that's just cheating. But yeah. This year's comic book movie. Shall I go first?
Yes.
Right. Okay. I'm not counting extended editions. I'm talking theatrical cuts because I've not seen Suicide Squad's yet. It comes out. It's actually out today, right now in the UK because it's technically Monday. Okay. Number 1, Captain America: Civil War. Number 2, Deadpool. Number 3, Doctor Strange. Number 4, X-Men Apocalypse. Number 5, Batman v Superman. Number 6, Suicide Squad. But 5 and 6 are basically interchangeable, and 2 and 3 are also basically interchangeable.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think our list might be rather similar. Actually, I'll go Civil War, Doctor. I'm gonna start from the bottom. So the middle's gonna be the surprise here. I'll go Suicide. You know what? I really hated Suicide Squad, but I think I might hate. I'll go Dawn of Justice, then Suicide Squad. Can I go the action scenes in Deadpool?
Nope. Totality.
All right, fine. Because like the more I think about X-Men Apocalypse, the more indifferent I get, and the same goes for Deadpool. So, you know what? Let's go X-Men Apocalypse, then Deadpool, and those two. And then just switch them around if you want, and then Doctor Strange, and then Civil War. Yeah.
Okay. You know what I'd love to see next year? Deadpool be Oscar nominated for Best Original Song for the Deadpool rap. Just so that we can have Ryan Reynolds go on stage in the Deadpool outfit and be like, Captain Deadpool, nah, just Deadpool, sexy motherfucker.
All right. Do you have a question here, Trilbee? We'll answer a couple of these here, and then we'll close up here. We'll close up shop.
Yes. Okay. Ewan David asks, what's the most underrated film of the last couple of years? So, Trey, do you have a film that you'd like to soapbox for, or something that you really, really like but think that more people need to see, or?
In terms of a film that I think... I can't think of a film that I liked a lot that I think the rest of the world needs to see, because typically those are the films that I catch. I think a lot of people still need to see Hush. Like, Hush needs to be a film that needs to be appreciated by a lot of people. And it's gotten some love, but I think it doesn't get enough love. But But I think a film that I think gets a way more hate than it deserves is Interstellar, and I'll forever sing the praises of Interstellar. I love that movie. I really do. I can forgive things like I can forgive things like Dark Knight Rises and just acknowledge this as just me being a fan of Batman, so I really didn't care about its problems. But I think Interstellar is a genuinely fantastic film. Not flawless, but what film is. Yeah.
The film I want to soapbox for is Robert Zemeckis' The Walk from last year, because hardly anyone saw it. It bombed at the box office. Oh, Everest was really good.
Everest, fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, Everest. The Walk is like that as well, but a bit more cartoony. But it's all about Philippe Petit, who's the French tightrope walker who walked between the two World Trade Centers in the 1970s. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt does a terrible cartoony French accent, and it's all over the top, and it's like the camera works all over the place, and Robert Zemeckis trying to show off with CG. However, it's a lot of fun. Its heart is in the right place, and the titular walk itself is astonishing filmmaking. Like, that sequence alone should have won almost every technical Oscar at the Academy Awards last year. It was just a phenomenal sequence, and it reminds you that, yeah, Robert Zemeckis may have done Polar Express or Beowulf and everything, but he also did Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Castaway. He's a great filmmaker at heart, and The Walk, that sequence alone needs to be seen by as many people as possible. So if you can watch it in 3D on a big screen, you probably can't because it bombed. But if you're somehow able to watch it, it is just an outstanding set piece. It's just incredible. So that's my soapbox film. But Everest is also really, really good.
Everest, I talk about a film that doesn't get enough love. Everest is, I just think that's just spoilers for those of you guys who haven't seen Everest, but check it out, please, if you can find it. That scene where, like, you know, we haven't seen Rob for a while, and they get back and Rob, and they realize that his wife's on the line and his wife's talking. And it's like, Rob, and then you hear like his voice, it's all hoarse, and he's like, and he cuts back and he's just like covered in snow.
Yeah,
genuinely heartbreaking. And like
it's another spoiler, but the guy when he slips. Yeah, and it's so understated.
I think he just fell off. I think he just rolled
over.
Yeah.
He basically collapsed. He just collapses, and you never see any. You just see him fall off screen, and he just never comes back.
Yeah, he just falls out of frame. Like that's the saddest part. And like at least Jake Gyllenhaal gets he gets like a death when his body's never recovered. And so Jake Gyllenhaal's the best in the movie, though, and he's just like, yeah, whatever, man. You know, we're just trying to climb up the mountain, whatever. But man, it's brutal. And then when you think that they're gonna leave him behind, Josh Brolin, and you think he's not gonna get found, and he does. He lost like a chunk of his nose and like fingers.
Frostbite's a bitch.
Yeah, man, that sucks. But yeah, Everest.
I'm surprised I didn't get a makeup nomination at the Oscars because Frostbite's just the worst.
Awful.
Yeah, those are two, The Walk and Everest. Those are some films that need some love, especially if you've got a Blu-ray player or a 3D TV. Like, you've got no excuse not to check out those two films. And a lot of people complained about Everest, saying, it's because it's too green screeny. Like 90% of that film was filmed on an actual mountain.
And it's a beautiful movie. I think it didn't make my top 10 list because I do have some complaints about Everest.
It made my top 15.
In that, it's just I think it tries to focus on too many characters, but when it does take time to focus on Beck and Rob and the journalist and Jake Gyllenhaal, those are the people that I think it really needed to focus on, as opposed to focusing on like 7 or 8 people. But when it does focus on, hold on, I want to give some love to Dean Jones here for giving us some more Voldemort jokes from last episode.
Dirty Voldemort. Okay, should we read some?
Bellatrix, my dear, would you please allow me the honor to slither it with my Elder Wand?
I think I'm about to Expelliarmus, and then it says, cue what Trilbee described as Voldemort's finishing noise.
Expelliarmus. Separate Sophia. Tom,
And
Bellatrix. You are a fantastic beast.
Well, you know where to find me.
Oh my
right.
God. That was
okay.
beautiful.
Thank you, Sir Dean Jones, which I call him because on Film Brits podcast he has been knighted. He is Sir Dean Jones.
Beautiful.
But here's a question that I think you'll like, Trey. Tom Quirk asks, do you think Kubo's underperformance will impact the production of stop-motion animated films in the future?
I think all of Leica's films have impacted by stop-motion. I think if Kubo did... Well, I mean, we do get stop-motion films made frequently, but the reason they're not in the mainstream is because I swear, if... You know it's going to win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars this year. You know it's going to be. Huh?
Well, Kubo better win.
It's
Otherwise,
not.
riots in the street.
But you know it's going to win, and it's not even a contest. It's gonna be Finding Dory, and that's because it's the Pixar name, and it's not just because of campaigning, but it's about recognition. Do you remember in 2013 at 2013 Oscars when I'm sorry, I was getting a phone call. Excuse me. When Brave beat Wreck-It Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
Because it had that Pixar, because that stupid lamp walked across the screen at the start of the movie.
Yep.
I think it's a matter of if, and I remember I championed so hard for people to go out and see that movie. I went as late as I could. I tried getting like the most expensive ticket to see that movie because that movie it needs the love. And Kubo and the Two Strings, I think Bandit may not love the film, but it really did something incredible that I think a lot of movies these days aren't doing. And I think the way it handles its villain and the way the animation looks for a film that's stop motion, it is truly beautiful. I've said that phrase a lot today, but
yeah,
it's just a beautiful movie. But so I don't think Kubo not doing well is going to affect stop motion films in any way possible, because stop motion animated films have already been such obscure. And like, if your name's not Tim Burton, then no one's ever going to care that they exist.
Or Aardman.
Yeah, but even then, what's Aardman's highest grossing film? Like what? Flushed Away? Who saw
Chicken Run? Chicken Run. It's the highest grossing stop motion animated movie of all time.
16 years ago. Good film. Mel Gibson and what's her face.
Oh yeah.
16 years ago.
But bear in mind, they also did the Shaun the Sheep movie, which made 4 times its budget and was nominated for Best Animated Film. It's really good, Shaun the Sheep movie.
Still haven't seen it, but that's my thing. Yeah,
it's really good. But they've got a sequel coming out to that in a couple of years. Shaun the Sheep.
They're doing
too.
What's that one called? That's coming out in 2018.
Early Man.
Yeah, I want to check that one out.
With Eddie Redmayne as a caveman and Tom Hiddleston as like the villain. Like, I think stop motion as a whole is going to be just fine. Like Kubo and the Two Strings is not going to be indicative of the whole subgenre of animation. It's just going to be another underappreciated film, as in terms of box office. It's been critically loved, and hopefully it wins the bloody Oscar. It better do. But I think for Laika, the train's going to keep on going for them. They've somehow been able to make these films just low enough a budget, and they've been able to recoup just enough money at the box office and with the DVD sales to just keep on going along. And hopefully Kubo finds a second life on home media, like on Netflix or on DVD or something, to just keep on justifying the whole enterprise. Because Laika have really revolutionized how stop motion films are made with 3D printing and with green screen technology, integrating both the practical and the CG. And Kubo is like the most technologically advanced stop motion film ever, in my opinion. At least I think so. From what I can see.
I mean, just look at the opening scene, man. Like when she's on the ocean.
Yeah, and they made a 16-foot skeleton puppet just because they could.
Yeah,
I think.
Laika itself, the company's gonna be fine, because I do believe the owner of Laika and the guy that makes those movies, I think his dad owns Nike or something like that. But Laika's gonna be fine. But I do think that it's a shame. I do think it's a shame that these films don't get as much love as they probably should. But I think it's because stop motion itself is such a niche genre. But what does excite me is that Kubo did feel not stop motion in a lot of respects. Like, there's some animation in Kubo where I'm like, that's not stop motion, but then it was. Like the skeleton. I didn't think the skeleton was stop motion, but it was. And so I do think that I think it's like when you played The Last of Us and you're like, this is a great game. This is a beautiful step forward in games.
Who are the two strings? The Last of Us of stop motion films.
Yeah, where it's the next step forward, and it's animation's getting really beautiful. I think it's going to a good place. So yeah, you're right. It's stop motion is not going to change because of Kubo, but I do think the animation might get a lot better from here on out.
Yeah,
especially
I think
Leica.
Yeah, maybe if like Kubo, Shaun the Sheep, Early Man, and all these other stop, maybe if they all bombed, then we're looking at a shifting change, and maybe stop motion only happens on TV, or maybe a random dream sequence in a film or something, like an Elf, because some of the characters in there are stop motion, which is really funny. Including the snowman, who's like, at least you have a dad. Someone just rolled me up one day and left me out in the cold. Which is a really funny way of looking at snowmen.
Yeah.
But yeah, stop motion is going to be fine, and I just hope that more people see Kubo and the two strings once it comes out on DVD.
We've got hope. Rebellions are built on hope.
Rebellions are built on Kubos.
Yes. Yeah. All right. And I think this is a good place to end it. If more than a good show today, Trilbee. Jolly good show.
Jolly good show.
That ends this week's episode of the Movie Mania Podcast. Thank you all for watching our long wrap-up episode where we essentially, you can call it a filler episode of the TV show. I think I enjoyed recording today. Join us next week where we talk something Star Wars related, I'm pretty sure. Trilbee, where can people find you?
If you must blink, do it now. You can find me on my website at www.trilbee.com, as well as my YouTube channel and my Twitter, Trilbee Reviews, and you'll be able to find me just drinking port and mulled wine and just having a really good time this Christmas while I watch Black Mirror. And Trey, where can people find you online?
They can find me. They can find me showering after watching Black Mirror for a second time. And on my YouTube channel, Podcast Media, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Podcast Media. The podcast has been moved over to my channel to the 50 new subscribers I gained in the last 2 days. Hi, welcome. We have cookies. And I post whenever I can.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Trilbee took all the cookies. And I post as frequently as I can. So yeah.